Welcome to DAX Machina, with your hosts, Naoma Finn, Steve Wildman Monrotis, and D.A. Roberts. Join us as we explore writing, books, authors, and all things horror. We will delve into the sightings, reports, encounters, and tales of monsters. We will also explore the writings of D.A. Roberts along with others in the horror genre. We will investigate the possibilities that monsters may not be safely locked away in the pages of books. They might just walk among us even now. Grab some popcorn and lock the doors. It's going to be a creepy journey. Welcome to DAX Machina.
Good evening, folks. Welcome to DAX Machina. We are going to have an interesting show for you guys tonight. We're down one Steve Wildman Monrotis. Josh is filling in for Steve, and we have the gentleman from Horror Chronicles joining us tonight. An awesome show. If you hadn't checked it out, you definitely need to. This is JT and Ryan from Horror Chronicles. Guys, introduce yourselves.
What's up, everybody? I'm JT.
And I'm Ryan. What's going on, everybody?
We are the Horror Chronicles.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
These guys bring the heavy metal to horror. They're a hell of a lot of fun to hang around with, and they've got a lot of great stuff to say in the horror genre. So before we get started, though, I just want to take a minute to say that our thoughts are with all the people that have been injured and killed in the rash of storms that went across the Midwest tonight. I think there were tornado touchdowns, like 22 tornado touchdowns across 6 states. They're still finding dead bodies. Some of the towns in Tennessee got wiped. Tennessee and Kentucky damn near got wiped off the map. Just a tragic night. We took some damage here in Springfield, but it was minimal. Most of the storms bypassed us. And Steve was kind of a victim of what happened here in Springfield. They were out without power for about 12 hours and still don't have the internet. But we got off light compared to what happened. So our thoughts and prayers are with everybody that was in the path of destruction last night. But having said that, thank you guys for joining us. And yeah, it's going to be a great time tonight. We're going to be talking about cryptids here in the Ozarks, probably talking about horror movies and all the things in between. And appreciate you guys joining us, guys.
Awesome. Thanks for having us.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, man.
We're ready
Anytime.
to rock and roll.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, it's anytime that we can talk about, everything that horror entails, like cryptids and
Absolutely.
movies, and just, it's kind of cool because we haven't really talked or had a good conversation about like any cryptids in a while, actually.
No, we haven't. Probably last time was with Mr. DA here.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Hey, man, if there's a cryptid to be talked about, I'm going to find a way to do it.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Now, ma'am, we appreciate you having us on. We always enjoy talking to you, and now we get to do this from the other side.
Yeah, it helps us keep our control.
No, there is no control.
Yeah, I don't think any of us have any control.
Yeah, I'm just gonna not talk for the rest of the 10 minutes till the 10 minutes of YouTube's good. And then
we're
10 minutes,
so you're okay.
I get to talk.
Yeah, you'll definitely. Don't worry, you're definitely gonna do that.
Yeah, Ryan always gives me trouble for going off on these tangents where I talk for half an hour.
I'm like,
I got a 5-minute story I want to tell. Like,
and it's like
a half later.
Yeah, that little shag is like 2 hours later.
on my show, I do a state of the nerd, like nerd pop culture, and my co-host Roper, we have those moments where I'll just go ahead, I'll let you talk, brother. Just go ahead, run it. And he's not shy about it. He goes, I don't care. I like to talk. You can let me talk. It's fine.
Well, hey, once I start talking, I've got some really important stuff to say. You know?
Oh, here we go.
It's really important to me.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm excited to talk about whatever you guys want to get into. We on our show we talk about a plethora of. We talk about horror movies, cryptids, paranormal, UFOs. Everything that's creepy and kind of. We talk about it quite often on our show. We like the things that make it life interesting. Think that there's nothing else out there and that you just live and you die, it's kind of boring. I could never live I couldn't imagine.
Like our show.
Now our show is definitely not boring.
No.
You guys got your
we'll talk about.
You guys got your fingers in a lot of pies. I mean, you guys do the hauntings, and you get the paranormal check and stuff, and
yes, yeah. So yeah, we also do investigations and things. I'm trying to. I can't
believe my buddy just shushed me.
Well, because I about said something, and I caught myself, and then I caught you trying to get back on there. So.
Great minds think alike.
But yeah, we also do investigations and things. We're going to be getting into that. We're also going to be doing our own, haunted attractions and things like that. And
we got some cool stuff coming up next year.
There's a lot of stuff in the works. It's just a lot,
I plan to get involved in a good chunk of that myself.
Yeah.
Definitely. Oh yeah. You'll definitely see hopefully some videos and things coming with DA involved, and whoever else we run into that wants to get involved. Everybody work together. That's why we like doing these podcasts.
Josh, what the hell are you doing? You're over there bobbing and weaving.
I'm trying to get comfortable in my chair. I've had a lot of back issues lately, so I'm trying to get settled into a spot where I'm comfortable.
Oh yeah,
and he just doesn't. I'm a dick. I'm making fun of you.
Well, you got to remember, you say you're a truck driver, right?
Yeah.
So you got to remember, he's in a truck. So
he just doesn't want anyone to know he's naked from the waist down.
Hey, that's every show for us, so we're all good here.
Because I'm free balling.
This is no pants dance around here.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Talk about cryptid.
Something else people don't see often enough.
Okay. I said I'm going to be quiet. I should not talk. It's only 7 minutes.
That's funny. You talk about that. It's a cryptid. No, it's just Josh running naked through the woods.
Yeah.
But that reminded me of we did
that famous side profile.
Yeah. we did an interview with a couple directors and a couple actors from England one time. And there was a part in their movie where you see like this weird creature in the background go running like past the screen, and like you just barely catch it. It's just like a split second. And one of the directors was like, "Okay, JT, do you know what that was?" Because I caught it and I asked him about it, and he was like, "Do you know what that was?" And I was like, "No." I said I even stopped the film several times trying to figure out what I had just seen, and they were like, "Yeah, that was actually." One of the directors, his name's Adam. He was like, "Yeah, that was me, buck naked on all fours, running through the field."
That is
and I'm
awesome.
like, "What in the hell?" And here I am. I've stopped this movie several times trying to see this guy swinging schlong, And then I went back and stopped it some more times just to make sure. I was like,
I don't believe him.
I don't believe him.
Well, on that note, I just want to say hi real quick to everybody in chat that joined us early. Lenita, Meg, Northwoods. We got Gogo, Sean, Werewolf. I feel like there's Kyle was another one that jumped in early. Thanks for joining, everybody. Now, I do see some people on Facebook. That's awesome. But if you want to take part in any giveaways that we do and the moderated chat, be sure you're on over at youtube.com/DA Roberts Author. That's the only place that the bot will pick you up for the giveaways.
And Nightbot is a finicky son of a gun, so you got to be in the right area.
Yep.
On ours too, huh? Are you running the show on ours Facebook too?
No.
Okay, cool. Okay.
But what I did is I gave everybody links on our page to where they could click on it and it would take them right over.
Okay, I was wondering why my phone's like blowing up. I'm like, what's going on here? Okay, cool. But yeah, guys, we on our show, that's what we talk about, and then we end up going off on tangents about things. Sometimes
directors running naked through the woods.
Yeah, we'll go from talking about cryptids, and then we end up talking about DMT trips by the end of the show. Which is,
we just love to have cool conversations,
mind-opening conversations. It's like I said, it's hard for me to believe that there's nothing else in this world. I don't know if you guys want to talk about this, but like something I've listened to some podcasts, and they've recently been talking about like simulation theory, that we live in a simulation. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, man, it's hard for me to believe that, just from my standpoint of having a child. I have 2 kids, and if you have kids, I feel like it's hard for you to believe that it's just you're living a simulation and that's it. There's no realness there. It's all pre-planned fakeness. I can't believe that. And the way you know, if someone passes away, the way the humans feel about each other. You know, Keanu Reeves said it best. He was on a show, I think it was Colbert's, and he said, "What do you think it's like? What do you think happens when we die?" And he just goes, "I think the people who love us will miss us." And that's about, you know, and that's awesome. And that's what it is, you know.
I got a D.
So for people to think that there's nothing else out there, I think you're pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
So yeah, whatever you guys want to get into, cryptid, UFOs, freaking horror movies, DMT trips, the Clockwork Elves,
We're
whatever.
already tripping.
We'll go into it with you guys.
One of the things I wanted to jump into is one of the things you and I have we've talked about on your show is the fact that one of the most recent sightings of the Ozarks howler was right in your backyard.
Yes.
Like literally almost.
Yeah.
It's
Not
like,
only have you been to that location, but you're within like walking distance of it.
oh yes.
Yeah. Well, Ryan and I, we live like, I don't know,
3 miles, 4 miles.
Yeah, 3 or 4 miles from each other. And this actually happened between our two houses.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
Pretty cool.
Pretty crazy.
Well, can you describe that area for us, and have either of you ever like heard anything at night, like because the accounts of the howler will talk about the famous howl.
Well, I hear things all the time. And JT lives kind of in the wooded. You live pretty wooded area too.
Yeah.
It happened like in the Bray Conservation Area, which is, you know, it's in between Rolla and Doolittle. Missouri.
And it's a pretty hilly area, a lot of woods. I mean, you know, it's I don't want to say it's a secluded area because it's not, but it's real easy to get secluded pretty quick.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, if you just walk off the road a few feet, you know, and you're in the middle of, you know.
Yeah, the national forest and stuff. So I've heard quite a bit of things. I don't know that I've ever heard anything as far as what sounds like it could be in the Ozark howler. It's funny. I actually I got a good buck this year for hunting season, rifle season. I got a good deer. So I field dressed it and everything, got everything done, but so I kept the carcass and I put it basically in my backyard just outside of my fence. See if I can't catch anything, you know what I'm saying? So
You'll end up with a hellhound or something.
Oh, I wish. I wish.
DA, one of your experiences is having your carcass stolen, isn't it?
Yeah. I was deer hunting near Eldridge, Missouri, and I got a good sized buck and started tracking him, and he dropped down into a ravine. And by the time I got circled around where I could get down in there without breaking my leg, I found where it had bled out, but I never found a trace of the deer. Something had picked it up and carried it off, and it was a good sized buck.
That's crazy. Yeah,
and that was back in the 80s before there were black bear in Missouri, and the conservation office would call you a liar if you said you saw a mountain lion.
Yeah, now we got them like on our.
Probably some
people are catching them on their Ring doorbell cams.
Threw it over its shoulder and walked away.
Bigfoot. He hit his interdimensional time button and disappeared.
I didn't say that. So you talk about strange, you know, hearing strange howls and stuff. So I don't know. I am really big into like outer space and astronomy and stuff. So I got really excited when we had this big full moon eclipse the other night. What was that? About 2 weeks ago or something like that. So anyway, it happened like really early in the morning. So I set an alarm, and it was like we were at full eclipse at like 3 o'clock in the morning. So I'm out in my driveway, and my house is pretty much surrounded by woods. And I'm in my driveway, and I've got my telescope out there, and I've got another camera on a tripod. And if you guys have never witnessed a full lunar eclipse in the middle of the night, it is creepy. I mean, everything just looks weird. Okay. So here I am, I'm out there shivering and taking pictures of the moon, and, you know, I'm running from one camera to another and over to my telescope, and I'm getting all these shots of this moon. And then all of a sudden I hear some weird, like howling noise, like down in the woods. And I'm like, okay, it's probably a coyote, or something. So here I am, I'm standing out there, and then next thing I know, I hear it on the other side of me. And then I know it had something to do with the eclipse. All of these animals around here just started going freaking nuts.
Oh,
and I was like surrounded by all these weird noises. And it was crazy. It was a creepy feeling. So the full eclipse, we got the totality on it wasn't really totality. It was like a 98.5% eclipse. It like 301 or something like that. Yeah, my ass was back in the house at 303. I was like, this is creeping me out, It was very unnerving.
Can you imagine how, back before we could predict lunar events like that, how people that had no idea it was going to happen would have reacted?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, oh my God, the moon just disappeared.
Yeah. Yeah, what the hell happened?
I shouldn't have looked at Toad.
And it was crazy because I don't know how much you guys follow those stuff, but it was actually a really, big deal for this. This was the longest lunar eclipse in 580 years.
Yeah, I remember seeing something in the I follow like a lot of news feeds and stuff, especially related to paranormal stuff, and I remember seeing this listed even with some of that stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't dig real deep into it, but I did remember seeing that it was a really big event.
Right. Yeah. The whole eclipse lasted like 3 hours and 38 minutes or something like that. And they said that the last time they had an eclipse this long was 580 years ago.
Wow. That's crazy. Wow.
So I was like, I gotta see that. So I was setting alarms. I set like several alarms on my phone.
I was gonna say, man,
I was like, I want to catch it before it starts, and then go back in and go to sleep. Because here I am. It's happening at 3 o'clock in the morning. I gotta be at work at 7. But I'm not missing this. Damn it.
That's crazy. That puts that in the 1400s. I mean, just think about.
Yeah.
When you put it, you say 500 plus years, but when you actually put a date to it, it's kind of mind-boggling.
It was during the Renaissance.
I was gonna say you must have been like 2 years old by that time.
Yeah. No, I knew how to drive by then.
No, that's awesome. Yeah. It's funny. You mentioned have I heard anything weird? This is crazy because this just happened. So I told you guys I had that carcass out, and I have a 6-foot chain link fence that surrounds my backyard. And I put I got about 6 foot or so of land off the back of the fence. I cut with keep it cut off the fence. But all behind there is all wood. It's all the natural forestry land and stuff like that. And so I threw the carcass right on the outside of my property there, and it slowly keeps getting dragged further and further out. Now there's coyotes out there and stuff, but so my family was out. I was at work, of course, working late, and I get a call from my wife, and she's like, "You got to go out and find my son Knox. You got to find his car. He dropped his car." I'm like, "He dropped his car?" And like, "Yeah, back there by the back of the property." I'm like, "Why were you guys back there?" So they were back there doing something. Well, they heard something. They heard something moving towards them. So my wife grabbed up my youngest son, and they took off down the side of the property, and they said they heard it going with them. Now, to me, that sounds like it could be a mountain lion, because coyotes really won't run with you. They like to sneak up on you, but a mountain lion, if you run, it's going to run with you. It's going to, but so anyway, my youngest son, has these 2 scratches down the side of his head, like just 2 of them. And they're pretty gnarly looking. I mean, they're not huge, but I figured he got caught maybe by some like blackberry bushes or something, because there's blackberry bushes back there.
Right.
But my thing is I'm like, well, he's like, that's a little pretty big for a thorn bush. And I'm like, yeah, kind of. So I don't know. He said he heard something, and he felt something scratch him, and then they took off running. I don't know. That was pretty crazy. So I took my Jeep back there, and I freaking turned on all the, I got like looks like freaking daylight with all the lights I have in front of my Jeep. And I turned them on, and I'm looking for his little truck he dropped, and I'm looking to see if I can see anything, fur or something. Haven't seen nothing. There's a lot of trails. Like you can see where animals have bed down. Yeah, it could be a Bigfoot. Could have been.
Chupacabra.
Could have been a Squatch. But I don't know. It's pretty cool living where we live because I hear and I see a lot of things, and then especially when I'm out hunting, it's so quiet. You until you go out in the woods, I don't think people really understand. A lot of people do because a lot of people go out and they hunt or they go out in the woods just to walk. But a lot of other people don't understand how quiet it is and how you can hear everything. And like I literally, when I'm hunting, what I like to do is once I hear a breeze, I listen and you can literally hear the breeze coming, and then you can count down to when it's going to hit your back. You can hear it coming from, a long ways away. So that's what's pretty cool. You can hear a lot of things that some people would consider maybe a cryptid, but it could have been a hog. I don't know if you guys ever heard what hogs sound like when they're
feral hogs are nasty.
It's pretty crazy.
Squeal, boy.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of it. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy.
So you're saying that's quiet enough to hear a church mouse fart?
Oh yeah, sometimes.
Gotcha.
It's sometimes.
I haven't done a lot of hunting, but I used to do a lot of camping, being out in the woods, and I'd go hiking on my own. This was younger when I was like a teenager. Looking back, I'm thinking, wow, you are dumb.
I had that thought very often. So
yeah, well, because I used to go camping in the high Sierras, and there's like a lot of Bigfoot activity up that way, and I'm realizing it after the fact. But anyway, I know what you're talking about, it just being so quiet. Some of my friends, they find it unsettling because they're grew up in the city, and to them that constant white noise is quiet. And when you take them out there, it's almost like scary for them to hear it to be that quiet.
Yeah. Yes, yeah. You get your body also gets the feeling because where I hunt, there's not a lot of power lines. You don't get service out there, so it's kind of like you don't get those.
You're off the grid.
Well, you don't get that electronic field coming. You don't feel that.
Yeah. Me, I was a city boy, so when I first moved down here, man, I was like, "What the fuck?" Dude, it was so funny when we first moved down here. My wife and I are sitting in the house, and I hear this just blood-curdling scream. I'm like, "Oh my God, there's a woman out there, and she's being beat to death." I'm like, "What the hell is that?" I go running out the front door, grabbing the gun, and I'm like, "What the hell's going on out here?" My wife, I look back, and she's standing in the doorway laughing. She's like, "Yeah, that's the neighbor's fucking peacocks."
Oh, peacocks! I'm like, God awful.
Fucking scared me to death, dude.
I mean, sometimes they sound like a woman getting beat or something. It's
that's what I thought was going on.
Yes.
Foxes could make some weird sounds too.
You will never be more scared when you climb into a tree stand about 3:00 in the morning, waiting for the prime time. You're getting in position, and 20 feet behind you in a tree, a screech owl starts going off.
Oh yeah. But yeah, you're right, Josh. Freaking foxes make some pretty crazy noises.
I'd be sitting there going, "God, I bet that deer can smell that."
But yeah, you'd be surprised. Some of the have you seen the video of those two bobcats fighting?
Mm-hmm.
And
bobcats are weird too.
They'll make all kinds of weird rackets.
It sounds like a damn banshee. It sounds like a demon coming at you. Like, that's crazy. So you never know.
Yeah, deers can make some pretty weird screaming noises too.
Yes.
Just so you folks know, this is the wildlife hour of our show.
Well, what it gets into though is the fact that you don't. A lot of people don't know what they hear out there. So
I wouldn't know what the hell I was hearing.
The thing is, go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, you're right though. If someone goes on a hike that's not familiar, they could be up in the woods and hear a bobcat scream and be like, "What the hell was that?"
Yeah, that's Sasquatch. Oh, yeah. But there are things also that you hear that aren't normal out there, and there's some pretty crazy. I've heard some pretty crazy things. And I don't know if we talked about. I think when DA was on the very first time he came on our show, I think we may have talked about this, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. So we camped out a lot when we were kids. I grew up in a town very small. There's like 450 people in the town. So I grew up with a group of like 9-10 guys, and we were all best friends. Still talk to this day and stuff. But we camped out a lot, and we were camping out one time. And this is up by close to the forestry area, national forestry area. There's a cemetery up there we were camping out close to, and so we built the perimeter up. You know, we got string, fishing string, tied it to these trees, and put some rocks inside soda cans and stuff. And like, oh, we'll be able to hear somebody coming or whatever, you know. And we built this platform up in this tree, and we took, you know, everyone had to take their time at guarding it, you know, guarding the campsite. So we're all chilling. Us probably, I don't know, 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning, and
yeah, werewolf. I agree with you.
Yeah, squirrel. No, hey, 100% all the time. Like that. Nope, that's not it. That's a squirrel. Yep, that's a squirrel. Don't even get me started. Mass genocide on those things. Anyways, so one of our friends is up on top of this little platform we built. You know, we have our 22. They have the 22 sitting up there, rifle. You know, he starts freaking out, screaming, "Guys, come help! It's trying to get out the tree! I'm like, what? We're like, what the hell? So we all take off running over there, and he's up in the tree and he's shaking. You know, he's all scared, and we're like, what's going on? He's like, there's something trying to get up the tree. It was clawing the tree. So we look at the tree with our flashlights, and you can see claw marks on the tree. So we were like, oh man, maybe it was a bobcat or something, or you know, something like that. We really didn't think that at that time. I was probably 13 years old, 12, 13 years old. So I didn't really know much about the mountain lions being in that area, but they could have been at that time. I just didn't know about it. It wasn't talked about a bunch. But anyway, so this is where it gets weird and creepy. And this is a real story from my own eyes. A couple other guys seen it too that I was with. So we're looking around. We see the claw marks, and we're looking around, and I see there's a tree. I don't know, for those of you watching, it's about this big around. So I see this tree, and then, but what I also see on this tree is like a pair of hands like this, right? But the fingers were kind of longer.
Like a raccoon's hands.
Yes. And then on each side of the tree, I seen like the eyes from the flashlight glow. So whatever it was, its eyes were that far apart, and it had, you know, super long fingernails or super long fingers.
I'll say it. I'll say it again, like I said it the first time you told me that story. That was a dog man.
Okay, so he was with you whenever you were on the show the first time.
I remember. Yeah, as soon as you said the hands on the tree, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this.
Yeah,
because we talked about how they look like raccoons' hands.
Yeah,
like they got like almost an extra digit that kind of looks like this spindly looking fingers.
Yep, and I was like, there it is. And we start throwing rocks, and my buddy shoots a 22 at it once, and then it took off, I guess. And nothing else ever came of it that night or anything. But I was like, what the fuck was that? You know, sorry, pardon my language.
We're far enough into it now.
We're far enough into it now. We're good.
Just fucking send it, man.
I gave the first one.
You know, one of the things that we talked about, like back in that episode, that always kind of messed with me was how, you know, sometimes you'll be out in the woods and there's all this noise and creepiness and, you know, like crickets and birds and whatever, you know, and then all of a sudden it's like everything just stops. And it's like, yeah, nice one. Everything just stops. There's no wind. There's no sound. Nothing. I mean, that's just fucking weird to me.
Well, I mean, it's like everything has an energy. Everything gives off an energy.
Yeah.
Oh,
you know? So, I'm a firm believer that I try to look at everything with, I don't know, common sense, and this what makes the most sense. I don't have time to look at it like, oh, this could be this, that. It's like whatever makes sense. It makes sense. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. But like for the amount of people in history, native tribes, so on and so forth, to have these cryptids and these things in their hieroglyphics and their writings and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's got to be something to it. The same thing with like
absolutely.
the same thing we talked about like with Bigfoot and things like that. You know, I'm sure you guys have probably talked about it already on the show, but like Gigantopithecus, you know, that was that's basically what a lot of people assume was the real Bigfoot.
Well, yeah, there's a pervasive theory that the only reason it was called Gigantopithecus was more accepted by science than saying, well, it's just a Bigfoot. So instead of that, we're going to call it something scientific, so it's more accepted.
And that's the thing, you know, it's like you're just playing.
Gotta love the British Museum.
Yeah, you're playing semantics. It's like it is what it is. Like that's the way we describe it. That's what we describe it as. You know, so I think that people should look at that, and if you're a believer in science, then you should also be a believer in history, so to speak. You know, and there's too many tribes and too many different nations, just all over the world that have these in them, and there are different names for them.
Right.
You know,
tribes that had no contact describe the same creature.
Exactly.
Yeah. DA can tell you that's an argument that I pretty much bring up every time this subject comes up is how do you have the First Nations and even beyond of the Americas talking about the exact same thing? Sure, that some of the details vary, but when you break it down, it's all the same.
Well, of course, there's going to be regional variations. You know, any creature, if you look at regional variations, they're going to vary widely in the same species. I mean, black bears, East Coast and West Coast black bears look very different.
Oh, same thing. Well, even with grizzlies, you have your shore side, like your grizzlies, and your inland grizzlies, and they eat different things, so they're going to they look differently because some are bigger, a lot bigger,
right,
compared to what they eat. You know.
Thank you, Tony.
Thanks, Tony.
So you know, it's kind of like what we got here.
Got a super chat, $5 from Tony. Thanks to the Horror Chronicles. I discovered my favorite author, DA, about a year ago. Love the work all four of you guys do. Keep it creepy.
Keep it creepy.
Right on. That's right, Tony. Thanks, brother. And you're welcome. You welcome.
You know, you talk about that, Tony. How I'm sorry, the Wendigo. Okay.
Yeah.
You talk about several different tribes and stuff, and like Josh was saying earlier, how he gets really big into this. You know, well, how can some of these tribes that are on opposite ends of the spectrum be essentially describing the same thing?
Right.
Yep.
You know, and when you look at drawings of these things, you know, when you look at ancient drawings of what these tribes claim to have seen, they're very similar. Very similar.
Yeah, it's just there's like you said, there's little variations. Well, it's like Lauren's talking about here. She said, Florida bobcats are different than comparison to Texas bobcats.
Yeah, Texas bobcats are chupacabras.
Chupacabra.
Sorry, I love that word.
Or according to the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, chupacabla.
Oh yeah.
I used to watch that all the time with my boys when they were growing up.
So my friend, he decided to send me a message instead of posting in main chat, but he says just because it's popular doesn't make it reality. And while that's true,
right.
It just seems I would believe that more today because of the pervasiveness of communication and internet. Popularity doesn't make it true. Right. But when you have separations of cultures, it's hard for them to all have the same mythos to create the same. We'll call it a lie make it simple. It's hard for them to all create the same fake story across multiple tribes. It's like there has to be something there in order for them to all have a commonality.
Well, and you look at modern sightings. You got thousands upon thousands of documented sightings from people from all walks of life, from doctors and judges to the guy you see on Unsolved Mysteries. Yes, I was deer hunting behind my house and saw 4,000 Sasquatches, and one of them stole my sandwich. Not all of them are completely unbelievable.
Guy.
Yeah, I think he's a real relative of mine.
One of them with the pregnant.
He sure likes peanut butter and jelly.
Peanut butter.
No, but you know, you're right. So the communication wasn't there back then,
Right.
and in order for someone 10,000 miles away from you to have the somewhat same description of
Or
something,
similar experience.
It's
Right.
there's got to be some truth into that.
Yeah, I mean, because you look at all these different tribes, and why would the Blackfoots be telling one story and the Sioux would be, relaying that same story, and the Cherokee and all these different tribes, but they're all describing similar things.
Yeah.
Correct.
I think we lost DA.
Nope, he's just taking a really long time fixing his leg.
He's thinking.
But yeah, werewolf.
I love how he stopped there. Here,
Werewolf.
Everybody do that.
If you're talking about that, the sighting at the Bray thing, that was basically going to be west of Rolla, just a little bit.
Yeah.
It's probably it's almost in Rolla, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's reading. I can't see that from here.
Robert says there's nothing more demonic sounding than raccoons fighting at night.
Oh yeah. Or whenever your dog's fighting a raccoon.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
to your, you can apply that same point that we're making about cryptids to even UFOs. There's a lot of carvings and documented history. You look at the Hindu, oh man, I always forget the name of it. It starts with a V. It's a text that they have from some of the first writings they have that describe flying ships. You know, and even in Christian, you break down the Bible. If you look at it from a scientific standpoint, there's documentation that sounds a lot like UFOs, and in other cultures.
Get out of here, DA.
Are you done reading?
Well, I'm trying to return my green screen back on now.
You should be able to do it natively now in Restream. If you click on the settings button, there's a green screen option there.
Yeah, I know how to get it turned back on. For some reason, when I lost internet, it shut it off.
But yeah, Josh, there's a God, I don't remember where it was, but it's like some ancient monument or something. That there's all these carvings, like these ornate carvings around the doors and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And in some of these carvings, you can see carvings of what looks like modern day astronauts.
Are you talking about the Fifth Element?
And, no. And these things were carved out thousands of years ago.
Yes.
You know?
Well, there's some that look like helicopters, some that look like spaceships. There's again back over near India. There's an area has the trace amounts of radiation as if a nuclear bomb had dropped. So you have all these weird things from the past that verified there was something there. Yeah, Northwoods never fails to let us know that his ex was
more
a
demonic
spawn. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
I think Northwoods and I had the same ex. Well, and look at stuff like, and everybody talks about the Nazca lines. How would that have been possible without some sort of celestial
to see it from space
intervention?
What's really crazy, and something that I think is really cool in this area, so to speak, is the pyramids themselves.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
The heaviest stones that in the pyramids came from 500 miles away.
Yeah.
500 miles. Where those stones come from.
How the hell did they move it that far?
And they're so heavy that we don't even have equipment that could lift them up.
Yeah.
Right. I've heard explanations as to how it could be done. Is it possible? Sure. you know, I don't want to discount anyone's ingenuity. The Greeks were very ingenuitive. The Egyptians were. Is it possible? Sure. But is it more likely with all the other evidence from history that there was other influence? Yeah, we'll go full Giorgio and
right. Well, and even if you look at the placement of the Great Pyramids of Giza, you know, they're in a perfect line that lines up perfectly with Orion's belt.
Yeah. Leave my belt out of this.
Not Ryan's belt.
Oh,
Ryan's belt.
Oh, I should. That's what you usually hear about my belt. Oh, Ryan.
Oh, Ryan. Or it's there's Ryan again.
Fucking Ryan again. But anyways, no. The pyramids to me are just crazy awesome.
yeah.
For that to happen and how precise it is, like you said, human ingenuity could have happened. Yeah, they could have. You know, I mean, it would take. I don't know how many people it would take to even attempt to move one of those stones.
Well, not millions to move a block, but millions to complete that.
Yeah, they move it up a mountainside.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
There's just too much that just doesn't. I don't know. There's a lot that doesn't make sense. You know.
Well, and there's not. Another big one is if you look at the Great Pyramid at Chichen Itza in Mexico, the Mayans and the Aztecs, they built this pyramid, and whenever they built this thing, they really had to know exactly how everything, you know, how the entire our entire solar system revolved around the sun and all of that stuff. Because what's cool about Chichen Itza is there are, during the summer solstice, the sun hits that pyramid just right to where it makes the form of a snake going down the stair, going down one side of the pyramid. It's perfect. It's a perfect snake. Yeah. And what they did is they carved snake heads down at the bottom of the staircase. It only happens once a year. We've been to Mexico a couple times, and we went to this place called Tulum. And Tulum has the same kind of thing. They've got a temple there in Tulum that whenever it's a certain time of the year, I'm not sure in Tulum if it was on the summer solstice or not, but there is only one time of the year where the sun shines perfectly through this temple and marks out a sacred spot in the courtyard of the town or the city, this, you know, this ruined city. It amazes me that how the hell can, you know, I can't figure out how to set a VCR. How the fuck?
You know what you know what amazes me?
You still have a VCR?
I do.
Well, no.
You know what amazes me is the fact that like there's 5,000-year-old buildings still standing in Ireland, but we can't freaking keep a bridge up in Missouri for fucking more than 15 years.
You ain't wrong.
So
that was back before the engineers got involved.
That, you know, that does lend a little credibility to the human ingenuity thing that, you know, that, but yeah, you're not wrong. We have gotten a little less sharp on our engineering skills than we were in the past.
Yeah, they build it to minimum standards now is the problem.
Well, all that money's got to go somewhere, and it's definitely not going to the roads. I can tell you that.
You ain't wrong.
Well, I'm going to tell you, back in Egypt, you have one guy standing there and have 5,000 people working.
It's a MODOK crew.
Now,
no. MODOK crew is you got
one
the other way around.
Yeah, you got one guy working and 25 people supervising.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I mean, it is awesome to think about. That. And to me, I mean, everyone, I think, even people who don't believe in extraterrestrials, so to speak, but I think they realize that we can't be the only life out there in the universe.
It'd be a pretty boring universe if we were it.
You know,
we'd have to be pretty arrogant to think that we were the only life out here.
Yeah.
And I think the reason why we haven't had more like face-to-face contact is we've got to be the Arkansas of the universe. They like lock their doors when they go by.
So yeah, it's like Vegas.
Like we landed once and they took everything.
Yeah, it's
you know, and people are like, well, if there are aliens, then why haven't they come to Earth? And I always ask them, I said, how do we know that they haven't?
Yeah.
Good point.
And then on the other side of that is okay, why wouldn't they come to Earth? Well, honestly, why would they? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, like DA just said, we're like the fucking Arkansas of the universe.
Stay out of the soul system. You don't want to go over there. That place is fucked up.
Know?
Yeah.
You know, they've got the ability to travel across interstellar distances, and we're still whacking each other over religion.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and you know, it's crazy. There's so many different beliefs on what, you know, you got grays and you got the lizard people and all this other stuff. Yeah, and to me, I'm a firm believer that I'm a dimensional guy. I talked about this before, not on this show, of course, it's our first time on here, but I'm a dimensional guy.
If you watch him close enough, you'll see him fucking shift out of fucking space.
I'm here and I'm there, but no, but you know, I think that
It's the shrooms.
Yes, or the DMT, one of the two, but mix them together. But no, I think that there's upper and lower dimensions, and there's beings that, you know, can affect us in these different dimensions. You know, I think you're leveling up or you're leveling down when you pass through this life. I for one don't think that that people just die and that's it. I think you go to a different plane of existence, you know, and you may pass through here again, you know.
Well,
but
energy never ceases to exist.
Yeah.
I mean, science has proven that. So when we die, our energy has to transfer somewhere.
Yeah.
Josh, you can't talk to Ryan about science. He doesn't believe in it.
Yeah, science is fake. No, I believe in. It's like I told him, we're talking on these microphones through this computer. You know, right. I believe in the science. My thing is, what irritates me about some things is people like trust the science or believe in science, and I'm like, what science? Your science or someone else's science? Because
everything is a matter of perspective.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well,
you know,
it's kind of like, you know, back in the 1800s, all of the explorers that went to explore Africa were coming back and telling the British Museum about gorillas, and they're like, "Oh no, that couldn't possibly exist." Yeah. And then, you know, 50 years later, somebody bags one and drags it in. They're like, "Oh yes, absolutely, I get to name it. I saw it first.
We've known about this the whole time. We just didn't think you knew about it."
Yeah.
You weren't prepared for this knowledge.
Well, somebody said something about fish or people too.
Yeah.
So what's fun? Joe Rogan, I listen to his podcast all the time, but he said something that was pretty cool. He's like, people talk about alien abductions, you know, and stuff like that. Imagine being a fish.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
You get caught, and this thing brings you up out of the water. You're sitting there trying to get something to eat, and all of a sudden, holy shit, where am I at? I can't breathe.
Why can't I breathe?
And then he puts
Ryan,
you back in the
if
water.
you're probing the fish, you're doing it wrong.
Hey, that's how I was taught.
That's funny. You know, all this talk about aliens, you know, I was...
When they say catch and release, they mean release the fish.
Oh, my bad.
Not your semen. But whenever I was watching your show a couple weeks ago and you guys were talking about aliens and, you know, outer space and stuff, I had brought up to you this new telescope that's getting ready to launch.
Yeah.
The James Webb Space Telescope.
The one they dropped.
The one they dropped. Did they drop it?
They dropped it. Yes, they did. They dropped it.
God.
And I guess they jacked it up pretty good.
$10 billion telescope. But the reason why I bring that up is
it'll buff out.
Like I said, I've been fascinated with astronomy and outer space since I was a kid. And so I was really excited about this because it's going to be the most powerful telescope ever. And one of the things, so whenever you read through their why we're doing this thing, they had 4 reasons why they were doing it. One is they wanted to look deep into our own galaxy, to look at when the birth of stars, like billions of years ago. And I'm a big time and space person. Get into that conversation.
So I was always
locked up for a second.
one of the other things that they're
doing
looking at is the search for extraterrestrial life.
And the third thing
Yeah.
while they're doing it is to explain why they're fucking spending $16 billion fucking dollars on something. They gotta have a reason. Oh yeah, we're building a special thing to do something. I always think it's funny that I don't know. To me, people always talk about science and math and things, and I'm just like, okay, hear me out here. I'm not going too far down this rabbit hole.
Here we go.
But I just want to say something. So the distance, there's so much distance there. And I'm like, wait a second. Who was it? Was it President Nixon that was there during the space landing? Is that who during the moon landing? Is that who it was?
That was Kennedy.
Kennedy?
Yeah.
So Kennedy made a phone call to them on the moon from a landline. I just want to say that. I don't understand that.
That was a communication through NASA.
Yeah.
And he called collect.
Yeah, and I can't even get through to I can't even get through out in the middle of Bucyrus to my house.
Can you imagine the switchboard operator on that? We have a collect call from the White House. Do you accept?
No.
I don't know
That'd
anybody
be a
in
hell
the
of a
White House.
charge.
I ain't paying for that, dude. I'm on the moon. I'll see you.
I
charges apply.
pulled up that article for you. I'll just read just a quick paragraph. However, as technicians were preparing to attach the telescope to the launched vehicle adapter, a sudden unplanned release of a clamp band that secures the telescope to the vehicle adapter released, causing a sudden vibration through the observatory. That's because the damn thing fell.
Yeah.
What it was
And now
bring your
it's-
kid. It was bring your kid to work day, and he's like, "Hey, Dad, what's this button do?"
Shit.
And it says James Webb telescope delayed yet again. I would imagine.
Yeah, that was actually supposed to launch either the 19th or the 21st or something.
Yeah,
like,
it's
in
As a
just
result,
like a
Bring
week
Your
and a
Kid to
half.
Work Day has been indefinitely suspended at NASA.
That sucks because they've been working on this telescope for 30
I've been
years.
excited for it to go up myself. I love space, time, paranormal. I'm into a lot of that stuff.
Yeah. What interested me about there was a lot of things that interested me about it. One was the size of it, but
Thank you again. Thank you
but
again.
the ability for them to put this into space 1 million miles from Earth and have it orbit the sun at the same speed as the Earth. I mean, it's just crazy.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, seriously. I mean, and they talked about, so this thing's going to be out there so far that astronaut couldn't get to it. What happens if something goes wrong?
I'm with you, Werewolf. I'm with you.
What happens if something goes wrong? Well, they claim that this thing was never meant to be repaired. Once it's out there, it's out there. They can't get to it.
That sounds like a likely story. I just spent
fix
$16
anything.
billion building this thing. We're never going to fix it if it fucks up.
I as much as I agree that we're going to do this, I can't help be reminded of Jeff Goldblum's father from from Independence Day. You think we spend $7 billion on a hammer? That money's got to be going somewhere.
Exactly. Thank you.
$40 million on a toilet seat.
That's what I'm saying, man. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, thanks, Meg. We love you too.
We are all, and we are
And
awesome.
for the right amount of money, you can love Ryan.
Yeah.
That's it's not Cameo. It's another website.
Yeah. OnlyFans.
He's
No,
not easy, but he is cheap.
Yeah.
He's cheap, all
or
right.
for no money.
Since we're talking about aliens and the past and stuff, I wanted to bring this up earlier. Could we kind of what do you guys think of the whole theory of the Anunnaki seeding humanity, and actually which caused the human divergence of where we are now? Yeah,
and that's all. Yeah, I love that story because it's kind of like it would make sense, and especially if you go through the history of how old humans are. Well, I guess us as Homo sapiens,
But wait. You'd need science to figure out how old we are.
you would think that.
You would think that. Yeah,
But then again,
just pull out your abacus and figure it out.
But then again, we don't really know.
Right.
No one knows. Science is just all science is just guess. And just so you guys know, I'm not a science, like I don't hate science. I just love giving him as much shit as possible. But
he does. Because I'm the science guy here. I'm JT, the science guy.
Who's not a real scientist.
Yeah.
Neither of you fuckers are.
No.
No, I'm definitely no scientist.
And neither is Bill. But anyways, no, back to the Anunnaki.
Hey, you wouldn't tell Bill that shit to his face.
I wish I could. No, but back to that. Yeah, I mean, I think humans are special. I think that the reason special, right. I know, I think the reason why it's just like with governments, you know, the government doesn't want to know.
Well, hold on, the power just went out.
Yeah, this is why I keep getting kicked off of places. But I think that, you know, they don't want us to know how special we are, and I think that if we are made or created by an alien race or whatever, and they come back to see what the hell's going on, you know. I think that we've gone such a long way. We kind of talked about this the other day, just from the 50s to now.
Absolutely.
You know,
exponential growth of technology.
Oh yeah,
it's.
Well, in my lifetime alone,
guy up with $500 words.
Yeah. Hey, look, just because we're used to talking, and doesn't mean everyone else is.
Technology gets better really fast.
Because we have problems with and the.
Yeah.
Stuff got gooder.
Yeah.
Very faster.
You know,
much fast.
But I think it's pretty cool. Well, okay. If you look at I mentioned just joking around about DMT and DMT trips, right? Since we're going on this alien thing, you know, usually when they do DMT, usually you will see the elves. Yes. The elves, not Alf.
Elves.
Yeah, like elves. Everyone sees them. Everybody.
Elvis.
Hi, buddy. What's your favorite color?
Yeah, exactly. But everybody will see these elves.
Alf,
so
look out for your cat.
If that means that look, you guys with your old references.
No, that's because I am old.
Even though I know what you're talking about, because I actually watched Alf a lot. But they call them the Clockwork Elves, or whatever. But everyone sees them. And why do we all see the same thing? Everyone who does these trips, why they see the same thing? Mm-hmm. They're like gatekeepers. You know what I mean? And I think that the human mind is so powerful and crazy that we really don't even know ourselves what it can and can't do.
No, they claim that we've only utilized 10% of our brain.
I'm using like 1%, but you know.
You're a 1%. Yeah.
I'm a 1%er, buddy. But
I think a lot of our brains are limitations, you know, because I agree with you that the brain is capable of so much more. I think it's self-imposed.
100%.
We are protecting ourselves from shit we're not even ready to understand yet.
See,
and there are things that open up your mind to seeing some of this stuff, or it just happens in front of you and you self-rationalize like, I didn't see that, or I was on drugs, or I was this, or I was that. And it could not.
On drugs.
or could it have been deliberate genetic tampering, like by aliens, to prevent our brains from becoming fully evolved?
Yes.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. And where Josh was going with that is, you know, it's are these elves real? And they're just in a different plane, in a different dimension? Or are you just is your brain making them up? It's kind of like the Matrix. Is a dream real or is this real?
Right.
You know?
If we were in the Matrix, I think the food would be better.
I don't know, man. We got to be.
I had a pretty good steak today.
I was going to say.
Just like the Matrix, though, if it's too good, we'll reject it. That's why the simulation continues to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think it's really interesting. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Like, I've never done anything like that. I'm boring. I don't do drugs. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I'm a real boring guy.
Yeah.
But but I would like to do DMT because your body naturally produces it anyway in small amounts. That's how when you dream and things, you know. And I think that it would be cool to get that experience to be able to see when that door is opened, what do you see and what happens?
I've seen some pretty cool shit while I was tripping.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you right now.
Well, you know, it's kind of this here for me. It wouldn't necessarily be about a trip. It'd be about an actual trip to a different dimension.
Yeah.
Right.
Another plane of existence. I think that and maybe it was manipulated by aliens. Maybe that's a cheat code for us to be able to get to the other plane. And since we've come so far, now these aliens are like, oh man, these guys look how far they're going. We got to slow this shit down sometimes, you know.
Cheat
we can't,
code.
you know,
up, down, A, B.
we created the nuclear bomb. We're like, whoa, these fuckers. We gotta slow.
Someone, we need to set some people down there and hit the reset button. Something went sideways.
Somebody's standing up there going, all right, who the hell gave them that?
Well, you know, I think it's really awesome though. I think that is something that, who knows? I mean, maybe a lot of these people there's a lot of very smart people, science people, Mr. Science Guy. There's a lot of science people who have done DMT and they talk about this. And for the fact that so many people see the same thing and they talk about the same things, there's got to be something to that. Your brain, you know, your brain is super powerful. And what I was getting at is like, humans are all connected. We're all connected, you know. You can get with a group of people, and in an instant, if something bad was to happen, I could have never met you in my life. We could all be in an apartment store, right? And a tornado hit, and we're in that building.
That just happened.
Well, that's why I said it. That's why I said it. We could all be in this building together, never have met in our life. This event happens. It brings us this so close together that we end up becoming close friends, just in that one instance, you know. And that there is it's pretty crazy, you know. To think about it.
So
Hooter Transport just brought this up, and it was something I was going to say earlier.
Yeah, we talked about this before.
Yeah, when we were talking about doing the alien show the other day, I told people start watching the news for things that they are very subtly releasing to the public. They've been slowly releasing more and more about aliens being present. And they've declassified some of the cockpit footage of fighter jets chasing aliens. And this was a very, very footnote in the news. DARPA created a static wormhole, a static warp bubble. They actually did it. But it was not front page news. It was just like, oh yes, and today
they made it accidentally. Supposedly,
DARPA doesn't do anything accidentally.
Yeah.
You know, you talk about this. You know, people with doing these DMT trips and stuff, and you know, experiencing the same things. Well, that could take you right into the conversation of near-death experience. So near-death experience, and we've talked about this numerous times about how as you're going through this experience, is your brain just flooded with these, you know, DMT adrenomorphs or whatever,
so they say like when you die, that's why a lot of people aren't. Most people, once they die or they have a near-death experience, they're not afraid to die afterwards.
Right.
Once they come back. They say that your body, it's pretty much proven now that once you die or you start to die, your body does a DMT dump, basically your adrenal, all that dumps, and you get a euphoric feeling and you just feel like a big warm blanket over you. And you know,
well, that tracks with what a lot of people say when they're not dying tragically anyway, that they're freaked out. And then all of a sudden they're like, it's whatever.
Yeah. You know? And that's the thing. Like for me, I have never had a near-death experience, but the only thing that bothers me about dying is leaving my kids. Other than that, you know, my family, my wife, my kids. Other than that,
Loss of connections.
Yes. I mean, other than that, man, it's kind of like I'm interested to see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I
Agreed.
mean, as long as I don't go out, you know, super super weird like I don't want to go out getting probed by aliens.
All right. Well, I don't know. I might be into that.
Oh yeah, but you like that anyway.
You know, I'm into aliens, or well, for that matter, the aliens would be into me. But you know, I mean, I've talked to some people that have had some near-death experiences, and they all seem to have the same kind of story about it. You know, and it's interesting, especially when you start talking about DMT, and you you look at the Native Americans, how they used to go into these huts and have these DMT trips and stuff, and several tribes would describe the same thing. You know,
yeah, it's and that's my whole point. What
does that truly mean? That we're truly all connected?
And that's and what I'm saying, yeah. And with that, it's kind of like, it's crazy to me. You know, I don't know. Have you guys ever talked about like the Akashic Records or anything like that? Do you know?
I think we've mentioned it before, but I think it was in passing. But go ahead, bring it. Go for it.
Well, the Akashic Records is basically, it's a place you can go and you can basically get bits and pieces from your past lives. And you know how when you meet someone, you're like, damn, I feel like I've known you my whole life. I feel like I've known you forever. You know, that's your people. That's your people that are from your past lives. And they say you'll always find your people, you know.
Interesting.
And I've had that happen to me, you know. You find certain people, you're like, damn, I just feel like you're like my brother or my sister, you know. And you can actually get to these places, the Akashic Records, through meditation and things like that. There's just so much out there.
There's some really cool information out there about them. We've both looked into it quite a bit.
It's really cool. I would butcher it if I tried to explain all of it to you, but if you look it up, it's just really cool and it explains a lot. And you know, if we are all connected, does that mean that we're all just part of this program from aliens or these other beings that create us, like we were talking about with the Anunnaki and things? You know, it's kind of like the same story of the Anunnaki, and you have your god, your demigods, you know, who are basically children of half god, half gods, half humans. You know, and Anunnaki, if I'm not mistaken, Josh, you can tell me if I'm wrong or not, but isn't that what it was? Like the aliens came down, they made it with.
I've heard it a couple different ways. The one I typically subscribe to is the Anunnaki actually came to resource mine Earth, and ancient man was not quite where they needed them to be for manpower. So they genetically manipulated us to make us a little more intelligent, stronger, etc., and manipulatable. Because the more
you don't have a brain, you can't be manipulated.
Right, the more primeval, the more animalistic you are. It's harder. So they basically domesticated us through gene experimentation. But see, that kind of leads into my other theory that most religions are just born out of alien contact. I mean, I am spiritual in the Norse sense. I believe in the Norse gods, but even beyond that, I still believe that they were a very powerful yet physical representation of real things.
Yes. I'm with you on that. And that's it. And you know, this is why we've been talking for an hour now, a little over. And for people how boring would it be if someone's like, nope, you live and you die.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah.
That's it. That's all there is in the world.
Got to be more to it.
What's the point? Yeah. What's the point to even life? Yes, you can. Sure, there's a point of view where you could be like, okay, well, you have to cherish the heartbeat that you're here. But I don't know. Just there's so much to life. Seems like there has to be more to it.
100%, man. And that's like I said, and I hate to say that because.
Man, Lauren's asking us to go down a really deep rabbit hole here.
Correlation between all the ancient civilizations and their gods. Well, that's kind of like we were talking about. Everyone, and most of the gods have the same, attributes, even as even as Jesus. I mean, they're all basically the same thing, same
Yeah,
person.
there's
different
correlations.
interpretations of the same thing.
Mhm.
Right.
There's
So what are we
correlations.
interpreting, though?
Right. There's correlations between Jesus and Odin. I mean, Odin hung on the tree of knowledge for 3 days. Well, Jesus was dead for 3 days. Like there's a lot of correlations to a lot of different religion. And
Josh, Odin hung for 9 days.
9 days. I apologize. But there is a 3 in there somewhere. I know it's a derivative of 3, but there was another.
But
I forget. There's a lot of correlations.
Oh,
100%.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
it's that's why, like, I'm a very spiritual person too, so to speak. I think there's a higher something out there. I just don't know what it is. Is it humanity itself? Is the world as a whole? That's why I say I believe. Hey, here, girls will. Yeah. We're getting spammed up. I like it.
Nice.
But I think that that's why I think that humans themselves.
Yes.
Man,
they just keep making new accounts just to spam.
Okay, the episode's over. We're gonna start watching that.
No, it's like those. It's what you do is you reply to them. It's like, what's that one? It says, if you had 24 hours with me, what would you do? And guy's like, all right, start off. You're gonna clean all this oil up off my fucking concrete in front of my house. Then you're gonna clean all these dishes.
At this point in time, do people not just like? People know this is all spammy trash. Like, why do they even try anymore? No one's gonna click on this bullshit.
Yeah, that's just bots.
We've got to find a way to IP ban them. Just gone.
I've tried to click on those several times. They don't work.
Josh, is that coming in from Twitch?
No, that's YouTube, and I'm doing everything in my power. I even turned on moderation that says moderate messages that seem suspicious, and this shit's still getting through. So,
dude, it's nonstop. It's every
you gotta hunt and peck it.
I apologize, folks.
Oh, I thought it was coming from my computer because I've been looking at some really weird shit here lately.
It's all your malware.
But no,
but yeah.
I think that that's why me personally, I believe in, like I said, multiple dimensions, different beings. I believe in all sorts of beings, and also I think that humans themselves, me as a person, like you were talking about earlier, Josh, you're saying that we put limitations on ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, so I used to fight back in the day. I used to do MMA, and before I got into it, I was like really nervous about it, super nervous. And then your coaches end up telling you got to put that out of your mind. And when you put something out of your mind, you'd be surprised what you can do. It's just like with when they, the moms that get those adrenaline dumps and they lift the car up off their kid or something,
Right.
Your body can do so much. It's crazy. Like, recently there was a guy who tried to commit suicide. He jumped out of like a 14-story building and lived.
Yeah.
Hit a car roof and lived.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
that'd be my luck. Then I'd be liable for the damages to the car.
Yeah.
Well, something else I wanted to bring up, and I don't mean to steer. We've just been on UFOs for a hot minute. Someone had brought up how you had said how the government's dripping stuff to us slowly. Have you seen that they're starting to put laws into place now when it comes to hunting? They've changed some of the wording to humanoid.
Yeah.
Ooh,
which falls back to the Uncanny Valley theory. It's something I love talking about. How people all over the world, cultures that developed completely independently of each other, all have that primitive fear of things that look almost human in the dark. It's ingrained in us. It's ingrained in everybody. It's called the Uncanny Valley theory. And for some reason, we all have this primitive fear of things that look almost like us that at one point hunted us.
Well, but isn't there a term for that? It's
the Uncanny Valley.
It's like you can't make up a human face.
No, what he's talking about is the fear of that. He's talking about fearing something that resembles us. Well, it's just like, when you watch a horror movie, most of the time when you ever see a shape, it's a shape of a human.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's a human form. But
when you want to really inspire terror in somebody, you let them see a silhouette of something that's looks
Vaguely
almost
humanoid.
human, but
Right.
might have longer arms or a bigger head or something that looks human but not quite. That's the stuff of nightmares.
Yeah.
If you're ever out in the woods in the dark and you see a silhouette in the woods that looks like it's on two legs and has two arms, but it ain't human, yeah, that's gonna be the moment you're like, "Whoo, look at the time."
That's gonna be the moment.
No kidding. Yeah. Speaking of that, what'd you think of that article I sent you the other day? Did you get to see that video?
Yes, that's a creepy as hell video.
ape?
Yeah, fantastic.
That was pretty
video.
cool.
And more stuff's coming forward like that.
Yeah.
And and I know it's very, very difficult to look at any piece of photo or video evidence these days and say this is definitive proof, because Photoshop and Video Shop are very real things, and people get better at it all the time.
Absolutely.
And it makes it so hard to accept anything like that at face value. But that doesn't mean it's not real. It just means it's got to be verified.
Yeah.
The Fresno night crawlers, Lauren. Yeah. Oh my God, them things.
I'm actually from Fresno.
Are you really?
Originally, yeah.
He was the original night crawler.
Did you hang out with the night crawlers?
Oh yeah, all the time. No, I know I brought that up, the hunting thing, because it's weird to me that hunting laws would now include humanoids.
Right. That is bizarre.
Because it's like a soft admission of cryptids.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
that's you want to talk about a soft admission of cryptids. If you look at the David Paulides Missing 411 and look where all the clusters are, the clusters center around national parks. Teddy Roosevelt, who prior to being president wrote of a cryptid encounter. Teddy Roosevelt was a believer in cryptids. Teddy Roosevelt also coincidentally founded the National Park Service, creating millions of acres of land where we're not supposed to be without permission.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy because we talk about how, like you just said, with the humanoid thing and how they introduced this stuff slowly. But throughout the years, so many people have said things, and this is okay. Let's just mention conspiracies real quick. People say something, and then years later, it turns out to be real, and then people are like, "Oh, I guess that's real now," And someone had mentioned something earlier throughout the chat. They were talking about how people put things in movies, and that's like, oh, that's like a movie. Well, they put that stuff out there, so that's like they say with aliens, you see so many alien movies because that way, whenever you see one, you're not, that's an alien. And you're like, oh my God, it's a fucking alien.
Well, like with cryptids, the Ohio Department of Natural Resources has released a series of videos on Bigfoot identification, and they're not done as a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are legit videos posted by the Ohio DNR. I've watched them.
And that's what I'm saying, down the road, they put things out there and then they come out over time. Stuff's happening. It just takes a while for it to come out.
Because you can't blast people all at once, because one of my favorite lines from any movie is Tommy Lee Jones from Men in Black. A person is smart, people are stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
Yes, very much so.
Evil dies tonight.
That's a reference to the new Halloween if you guys haven't seen it. But
it's mass hysteria at its best.
Yes. And that's my whole thing with the group think.
Yeah.
Humans are connected. You can get a group to do, it's like cattle. You herd them, they get in a situation. It's like, boom, everyone comes together and does this one thing,
Well, and that kind of plays into the whole possibility of us being genetically manipulated. That could have been something encoded to make us easier to manipulate.
Yes.
And that can spin all kinds of conspiracy theories, because supposedly governments are in touch with aliens, and maybe the aliens have told governments that we are easily manipulated.
Yeah. Which president was it that made the deal with the aliens that they could abduct certain people only out of natural force?
That's got to be Clinton.
hey, man. Hey,
he's like,
go ahead and tag anybody you want.
I like probing.
Rogan's
Careful, there's some
right.
Clinton conspiracy
I'm going to jog to
going on out there.
McDonald's later.
But no, it's just all pretty interesting, you know, and
Yeah.
it'll take you down so many different rabbit holes. I go into so many things and I'm like, man, I've got to just step away for a minute because but my thing is too, what I was going to say is once you open your mind up and you think about things, you know, it's kind of hard to shut it off. It's kind of hard once you realize what's going on, you know, it's kind of like the Matrix, you know, once you fucking know what's going on,
you start seeing more. Like I noticed the more I've, gotten to know DA and gotten into this world more and more, not only am I more accepting of things, I'm also more skeptical because I realize people are shit, but
yes,
People will hoax
but
anything.
yeah, I had to
Which
leave
makes
several
it
Facebook
extremely
groups.
difficult for people with credible encounters to be taken seriously.
Yeah, but you start seeing more. You're more open to stuff. I noticed that early on in my life because I got into paranormal as a kid, and the more I open myself up to it, the more you start seeing things or experiencing things.
Right.
Yeah, when exactly, you know, and
you're opening your eyes and you're letting your mind,
Again, I like movie references. It's kind of my go-to, but like in Constantine with Keanu Reeves, where she's like finally sees it and starts seeing demons everywhere. It's kind of like that. It's very similar.
And that's the thing too, and that's with everything too. It's not just with the paranormal or with stuff like that. It's everything, man. Now, like if I watch a movie, I'm like, oh, I see what you're pushing here. I see your agenda here. I see what's going on here. I see what's going on there. So it kind of gets hard for you. For me, it really takes a lot for me to be like, okay, just enjoy yourself. Just enjoy the movie. Let it go. It's enjoy the movie for what it is.
Like watching a movie with my wife.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you just got it is what it is, Yeah. But yeah, once you open your eyes, it's like with anything, and that goes into like the near-death experiences. Once you pass that line, it's easier for you to see things, and that's what's cool about children, man. Like I love my kids, my boys so much, and like to see their mind, I can see them thinking. So like my 5-year-old, he just turned 5. He'll come up to me and he'll ask me a question. And he's serious about it. And he looks me right in my eyes and he's thinking. He's like, what's this? And he's asking me and he wants to know what it is, and their minds are open. And that's why I think that's why they can learn so much in that age group. You're like, how do you learn that? Where did you get that from?
And the older we get, the more our minds become closed because of
being
society,
told constantly, oh, that's not real. You're just imagining that.
Right. Exactly. I mean, when you're a kid, you think there's a monster under your bed. Well,
real monsters outside.
Depending on your parent, they're going to tell you, no, there's no monster under your bed.
You're me.
If it was me, I'd tell my kid, no, the monster's not under your bed. It's in the closet.
It's in the closet. Here's a Glock. Just you're fine.
Yeah. I mean,
He said it. He's in there. He killed him with extreme prejudice. And if he's in there, he ain't happy.
Your older brother used to say the same thing. What older brother?
That's fucked up.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's fucking funny. But yeah, it's there's so much out there. And
Josh, you got a question here.
What we got?
Why can't
It's
we
directed right at you, buddy?
Normal eye with some beings, but only with camera. I have theories on that as well. I think it even circles back to what we were talking about before with our own self-limitations and being able to see things. The camera is unbiased. It's a piece of technology where we close ourselves off either by nature and design, we can't see it, or that we've put these self-limitations on ourselves to not see it.
Well, like you said earlier, I didn't just see that. I know I didn't just see that.
So you may have seen it, but your brain has scrubbed it. Like, nah, we're not going to let you see that. You're not ready for that.
Yeah, story of my life.
It's funny. I just told Ryan this the other day. We recorded an episode I don't know, a few days ago. It'll go out probably next week. And I told him this little story. So my wife and I, we live in well, we've been living here for 16 years, but it was a brand new house. I mean, it was purposely built for us, you know. Nobody's ever lived there, nothing, you know. So the other night, my wife is, she's usually always home from work before I am. And she was working late. She works for the school system, and they were doing like parent-teacher conference or something. So she was working late, and so I'm at home, you know, with my dogs and stuff, and we have a small 2-story house. Well, the upstairs we don't use. It's got 2 spare bedrooms and a bathroom, and the doors always stay shut. And now I've got animals. I've got cats and dogs and stuff. So anyway, I've got a bathroom right off my bedroom, and I walk into the bathroom, and I'm standing there at the sink, washing my hands, and I hear a thud from upstairs. And I'm like, what the hell? And the bathroom upstairs is directly above me. This bathroom door shut, you know. Like, what the hell was that? I'm like, whatever, you know. And then all of a sudden I started hearing footsteps above my head, and I'm like, I just stood there looking at the ceiling like, what in the hell is that? Because there's nothing could be above me. All these doors are shut, you know.
Right.
And so, of course, I go up there and I fling open the bedroom door. You know, I'm going to kill you, mother. No, I fling open the bedroom door. There's nothing in there. There's nothing. I have no idea where the hell that came from. And so we had talked about, whenever I told Ryan that story, we had talked about how sometimes it's not the house that's the problem. It's either the people that are in it or the land that it's on.
Mm-hmm. The land. That's what some people say about America. Oh, America's only 300 years old. They can't have it.
Yeah,
the ground's there forever.
As a country, but you know, like you said, the land's been here for. And that's one of the things that people fail to realize about the Ozarks. Even although the Ozark Mountains aren't like the size of the Rocky Mountains, the Ozark Mountains were actually some of the oldest mountains on the planet. The magic of those mountains goes back eons. Yeah. They are epochs older than the Rocky Mountains. At one time they were taller, but they've been beaten down by time. The Rocky Mountains are not Rocky Mountains. The Ozark Mountains literally are one of the oldest mountain ranges on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Old stories there.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Go ahead, bud.
I was gonna say, aren't the Appalachians also some of the same mountain chains from was it Ireland?
The Appalachians before continental drift.
Yeah,
the Appalachian Mountains are actually the same mountains that run through Ireland and northern Scotland.
Yeah.
So this land has been around.
Yeah, and you know, and you talk about some paranormal activity going on there. You know, you go over to Europe and Ireland and Scotland and stuff, and you've got all these old castles and all this stuff. I mean, think about all the trauma that they've seen, you know, over the years and stuff. I mean, it's a wonder that not everything's haunted over there.
Exactly.
JT, Meg's got a question for you.
Yeah.
She says, is your property known for any past trauma or graves or possibly other structures were there?
No, there was a house on my property, but it's not where my house is at now. It was closer to the road. I'm just going to tell you, my father-in-law bought this property, and it backs up to his property, and it had an old farmhouse on it, and he decided to tear the house down and built the house that I'm living in now. And, I know at one time this property was owned by the railroad, though.
Interesting.
But other than any kind of trauma or anything, I don't know, honestly, you know, if there's been anything like that happen here.
Yeah. Well,
I'm sure there has, as old as, you know.
Well, like they're saying in the chat here, you know, Native Americans, I mean, not only through, I mean, just forever. Native Americans killing the Native Americans, and then whenever Europeans came over and the wars with the Native Americans, you know, there's just so much all over the world, and that's one thing that humans seem to always do is they go to war. It's like, you know, it's a sad thing for most humans.
I like Go-Go's comment here, and all I can tell you, Go-Go's don't believe everything you read.
Very much so.
Yeah. It just like anything else. And I'll say this as someone who used to be Christian and is more well read, I guess. I don't want to say anything insulting because I do care about everyone's religion. I think it's important too to have something you believe in, whether it's religion or not.
Absolutely.
But what I will say, just like anything else, everything is from a point of perspective, and that includes the Bible.
Right.
And from the point, had I still been a believer, I used to still tell people, while believing in God, the book was written by man. It's going to be influenced heavily. So unless the book was given to you by a divine source, question everything in it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's why I don't read.
Absolutely.
That's why I said, man, school's for chumps.
Yeah.
I don't know how to spell chump, but you for chumps.
Yeah, I say whatever makes you a better person in life, do it.
Do it.
Yeah.
You know, as long as you're not hurting anyone else, whatever makes you a better person.
100% my philosophy.
Do it. I've got zero. I've got, you know, as long as you're not affecting my 3 people in my house, the 4 people, me included, the 4 people.
I was gonna say, where are you at?
You know, as long as you're not affecting them,
kidding.
just do what makes you a better person, because that's what the world needs is a lot more better people.
Yep.
You know,
No, the world needs a hero.
I'm right here, Captain Spastic.
Captain, you're more like Captain Underpants.
That's what my son said. I have no idea what that is, but I've heard. My son's like, Captain Underpants, Dad. I'm like, huh? But yeah, cool thing about it is everyone's got a different perspective.
Yeah.
Everyone.
And just because I have a belief that's different than yours doesn't mean I'm right and you're wrong. It just means that, you know, I'm me and you're stupid.
Well, it's like
man, you would really get along with my friend Roper. You're very, very similar.
Yeah, see, it's like Josh.
What? He's a dick like me?
No, there's a shirt on our store that you might want. It says, oh man, hold on. I forget the exact wording and I made the damn thing. No, it says you're wrong and let me tell you why.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. My mom's favorite saying was, if you can't be right, be wrong at the top of your voice.
Yeah. Yeah, see, man, that's the way I look at it. Kind of like Josh said, you know, everyone can have their own perspective on things. And if you want to talk about stuff, we can talk about it. Just make sure be respectful, you know?
Absolutely.
For me, it's,
you know, it's funny. You talk about having conversations like that, you know, and it's funny. Whenever I meet a stranger or something, it's all like, oh, hey, you know, nice to meet you. And they're like, yeah, let me talk to you about hunting and fishing, or let me talk to you about this car or that car. I'm in the automotive business, so people always want to talk to me about cars. And it's like, yeah, okay, well, yeah, whatever. All right. Yeah. But the minute they mention ghost, it's a freaking 3-hour conversation. You know? I will talk your ear off about anything creepy.
Yes.
Yep. Yes. I'm right there with you.
You know, I have so many different conversations with people because like we're into so many different things.
Yeah.
And, you know, I have a lot of people who talk to me about religious things and other stuff. The one thing I don't talk about with people is politics.
Yeah. You know,
I try to avoid religion and politics.
We try and keep religion and politics out of our show. We have to talk about religion sometimes because, of course, we talk.
It overlaps sometimes.
Theory and stuff like
exorcisms
that,
and
you know. So I mean, religion does come up, but you know, it's not something that we try and dwell on.
My thing is, man, is like I said, I'm a firm believer, just like Josh said. You do you, I'll do me. Let's be respectful to each other and let her ride. You know,
right? Exactly.
I need one of the shirts though.
You're
wrong, and I'm going to tell you why.
You're wrong because science said so.
Hey, folks, we're going to be doing a $5 gift card, Amazon gift card giveaway here in about 10 minutes. You know, the Amazon gift card, good for any purchase on Amazon. Coincidentally, though, it is the perfect amount for a Kindle book from any of the books in my collection. I know, complete coincidence. That was
no figure. No.
Complete coincidence. It was not premeditated in any way, shape, or form. Blame my wife. It was her idea. But we will be doing a $5 gift card giveaway for Amazon
Awesome.
here in just a few minutes.
Awesome.
And the
Yeah,
winner
and-
is me.
and a reminder, folks, that you must be in the YouTube chat in order to be eligible for the YouTube or the giveaway, and you have to say something in the next 2 minutes in chat. Like I tell people, sometimes you can just monkey roll on the keyboard.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. So just pop up and chat if you're lurking and you want to take part of the giveaway. This is your chance.
Lurkers. I love lurkers.
I'm
We
a
got
lick-
quite a few.
They're creeping in the bushes outside your house.
Don't do that no more.
So, Josh, let me ask you this.
What's up?
You talk about how you've been in paranormal all your life. What got you into it?
The creepy incidents. I grew up in a house where we had some weird stuff going on, and we never talked about it. You know, it's one of those things where when you have weird things happen, sometimes you don't tell people about it.
Right.
And come to find out later, we all saw stuff in the house. We'd see shadows going down hallways, you know, and I chalked it up to maybe headlights coming through the windows. But when I really started researching how that would have to work, the angles didn't work.
Yeah.
And my mom told me a story eventually about how she saw someone standing over her in bed when she thought it was my dad until she rolled over into my dad in bed. And yeah, and so that freaked her out. And that's when we started having the conversations about different. My dad's like, yeah, because he worked for the railroad. Sometimes he'd come home late at night while everyone else was asleep. And so he's like, yeah, I see people in the hallway all the time. He had an out-of-body experience too. So he was very also in tune with paranormal and didn't care that much about it. And he was like, yeah, there's people in this house. And so I started researching and getting into EVPs. I recorded several in that house that were rather disturbing. There was some tragedy in that house that we were unaware of. A guy killed his family and himself. The owner of the house's family member did it. I never could get substantial evidence of that. Like, I was too young to know to really start like researching like police reports and stuff like that.
Right.
But her nephew told me that we went to school together. When I asked her about it, she would always completely change the subject or avoid it. And to me, absence of a confirmation is sometimes a confirmation, depending on how it's presented.
Absolutely.
So that kind of got me into it, and I just started, you know, haven't done as many hunts as I would have liked to have done, but I constantly try to research it, watch is the most legitimate shows I can find. You can usually catch the bullshit ones pretty easily.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, some of those shows are pretty out there.
I've been
Just then, at that exact moment.
It was a demon.
And that was kind of like, I always.
Not gonna name any names. I won't call anybody out by name.
Well,
but
I always
some of them were pretty unbelievable.
I'm waiting for the guy. You gotta love the guys that walk into the haunted place, and it's like, yeah, there's a demons here, and no one provokes them because last person that did got stabbed. And then the guy walks in and it's like Arnold Schwarzenegger from Predator. Come on, possess me. Do it now. Come on.
See, that's why I like I really like Taps and Ghost Hunters, those guys.
Oh yeah.
They seem the most legit out of a lot of them.
They look for logical explanations before they go, okay, it's a ghost.
See, that's how I hunt. I go, okay, what can this be? I'll try to eliminate an entire list of things before I even remotely. Same with cryptids.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of people, and we've talked about this before, and I'll mention names because I don't care. But like, Zach Baggins, a lot of people give him crap and stuff. And, honestly, I think the guy is just super, super into it, and he gets excited. And is he pushing it? Yeah, he's trying to make money. That's why he's there. You can't do that type of work and not make money because you can't do anything else and do that type of work.
Right.
So you got to bring money in. I think the guy really loves it. He's actually entertaining to me. Like,
Right.
But I think that as far as like the ghost hunters and stuff, Jason Hawes and them,
yeah, I
think those guys are really legit. And I think that from what I hear, and we dig deep into it.
Yeah.
I think that the business was like, hey, you guys need to start making shit happen.
Well, I know Jason will admit that to you.
And he's like,
Yeah.
man, I didn't like. So that's why they kind of stepped away, and now they're coming back and they're doing things the way
They're rebranded. Yeah.
Yeah,
I like
you know.
I like the Ghost Nation concept. How
Yes.
they're branching out with all these local groups. I really
Yep.
like that.
Dead Files is pretty cool too. Yeah, I like that one.
I think when they start doing Ghost Nation, it brings a level of credibility to it when you are bringing in actual real people that aren't a part of the show. You know, you're bringing people on that keep it more grounded.
Yeah.
Yes, Meg, we are. It's the Horror Chronicles podcast. You can look that up and you'll find it. We're everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
We're all around the globe.
Yes.
So I'm just going to tell you a little short story here. Ryan's going to roll his eyes. Because my short stories are
2 hours later.
No, you were talking about shadow people and stuff. And this is just kind of a cool story that I want to share with your followers here. So when I was younger, when I was in my mid-20s, I moved in with my best friend. Him and I were both into music. We played in different bands, but we were just hit it off, from the beginning. So he was married to a woman, and I needed a place to stay, so they offered to let me move in with them. Well, we were both big gamers, so we would stay up late at night playing video games and stuff. And she wasn't really that much into gaming. She liked to read a lot, and she would sit and watch us play. And, she'd be like, oh, hey, you missed something. She would just, it was kind of cool, So anyway, my buddy had went to bed one night, and I'm sitting on the couch. I'm on one end of the couch, and his wife's on the other end of the couch, and I'm playing a game. And out of the corner of my eye, going into their dining room, I thought I saw something walk through the doorway. And I was like, what the hell was that, And I kind of glanced over there, and then I just went back to playing my game. And I don't know, a few minutes went by, and I saw it again. And I kind of glanced over there, but I kept playing. And finally, it did it a third time. And I laid my controller on the table, and I just turned around and was staring at the doorway. I'm like, what the? And I never said anything. And I'm just looking, waiting for something to happen. And as I turn around to my left and look at her, she's sitting there. She's got a cup of coffee in her hands, like held up against her chest. And she's staring right at me. And she's like, did you see that too? And I was like, what the fuck was that?
It starts breaking down those barriers we've set for ourselves when it's confirmed by other people.
Yeah, because it's like, okay, I know what I just saw, but now I know that she saw it too. What the hell was that? But
when you see something by yourself, you'll question your own sanity.
Yeah,
but if other people see it too, you're like,
yeah, it was kind of a shock to me. But yeah, it was. We didn't live there much longer.
Well, look at this! It's such a nice house. Time to move.
Yeah. Oh, look at this place. We got a nice house, a nice yard. The kids are happy. Get out! Too bad we can't stay, baby.
Oh, you're getting haunted.
Ryan's fingering the camera.
Hey, just so you know, that wasn't his finger.
Wow.
I guess kicked out of here.
Was he like
Eldritch penis?
Eldritch.
Hung like a glove.
Yes. Oh no.
Congratulations, Tony.
Unfortunately,
Congrats,
guys,
Tony.
Here pretty soon. I'm probably going to have to leave. But you can talk to JT.
He needs to. Oh, never mind. I can't say that.
No, as you mentioned a little bit earlier, DA, I work for a delivery company, and they got me working 6 days a week right now. So Wednesday's my only day off.
You were the true hero of the season, making sure those packages get through, buddy.
Yeah, dude, it's rough, man. I'm telling you right now. We're so busy, it's crazy. And if you think about it, you got FedEx, UPS, Amazon, DH, all these different companies that deliver stuff, and they have all kinds of employees, but we're all still swamped.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It is crazy.
I'm pretty sure every time FedEx or UPS comes to my house, they walk back to their truck grumbling the entire time.
Part of it
cut
is
my workload in half if these idiots had knocked it.
Well, see, part of it's on the warehouses because we just made a big order for Christmas. One order, all from Amazon fulfillment, 14 packages. Why? It all came from the same warehouse. It didn't
Oh
even
my-
come from different warehouse. It all came from the same one.
Yes.
What the hell?
Hooter, if you don't do that package the internals of the kit separately and give them to us as a separate gift. But if you pack that full of Hello Kitty Band-Aids, that is going to be so funny.
That is awesome.
Yeah,
Nice.
but you know, a lot of the times they put that stuff in different things because they get paid per package, postage and stuff.
Yeah. Well, it irritates the postman because when he comes to the door and goes, "I have more," you're getting too many.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I always hear that every time I stop someone's house. Oh, you'll be back here tomorrow. I'm like, oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I deliver as well. I said I was a truck driver. I actually deliver auto parts.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
I run third shift of dealers from a warehouse, and winter is increased for me, not because of Christmas, but because people drive like idiots, and I'm delivering
Right.
body
Oh, yeah.
panels and.
Absolutely. Well, and
True
it's
that.
funny because I work for a dealership, so
Oh, there you go.
yeah.
So
Well, and this
Maybe
time
you're delivering to me.
and this time of the
I
year,
don't go that far.
the deers are in rut and stuff. So
Yep.
they'll run right out in front of a truck.
Oh yeah, I pick up a lot of core bumpers full of deer fur.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
For
I
sure.
bet. I bet.
For sure. But no, I don't want to cut you guys short. So if JT can, I'm not going to leave just yet, but here pretty soon I'll be getting out of here.
Cool. Yeah,
I
just
gotta
let us
get
know, man.
I got to
Yeah.
get some sleep, unfortunately.
That's
they-
the beauty
Fair
of a
enough.
live show. We're not
Yeah.
scripted. So if,
Oh,
if
yeah,
you guys need to
100%.
call it a night, we can handle it, man.
Usually I'm like, screw it. Well, last time, like he was talking about when we did that interview with the UK directors and those two actors, we were on there for 5 hours.
Night, George.
Nice.
It was crazy. It was crazy, especially because it was like 4:00 in the morning over there by the time we got
We've
on.
had a couple. We've had a couple of DAX Machinas that have gone. They've
4
been
and 5,
power
almost
shows.
6 hours. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I'm cool with that. I just, they got me run down so bad, dude. We've been working 6 days a week since before opening week of rifle season, which is like November 15th or 13th this year.
Yeah.
It's rough. Thank you, Meg. We try to rock.
Gogo says, "Do you think ghost hunters or other hunters on YouTube are real or fake? How can we know?" We don't. I mean, as much as I like ghost hunters and Ghost Nation and Taps, I have no way of knowing if they're real or not.
One way you can indicate if it's real or not is if they're always catching things. If they're always catching things, they're fake.
100%. That's a good one because actually, if you watch, like, if you sit down and binge like Ghost Hunters or now Ghost Nations, sure, do they get things periodically? But most of the time, it's still unfounded. They're like, "This is weird," but
Or they'll say,
But we don't know
we
what
found
it is. Yeah.
this, but we were able to say it was this.
right.
I like that about them. They're
Right.
like, yeah.
They'll
we
go in
found
and be
something
like,
that sounded like whispering, but it turned out to be water going through a pipe.
I love one. They're like, every time we go in the basement, there's a cold spot. And he's like, "Yeah, you got a vent right above your head." Like, of course it's a cold spot. Or
Yeah.
they'll go in and they'll do EMF readings and it's just like all the wiring is shit. And they're just like, "Yeah, no wonder you feel weird in here because,"
No wonder you had to
you're-
burn your house down.
right.
Yeah.
They're like, "You might want to get this fixed."
Fixed. Yeah, exactly. So that's a good indicator.
Yeah, and them guys are cool. I mean, it was funny. We had Jason Hawes comment on one of our videos on YouTube one time.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah, we were talking about Ghost Nation.
Yeah.
But right
Nice.
before it came out, whenever they announced it, we did a show about it and we talked about all kinds of stuff. And it was kind of cool. He commented on it.
Yeah, we
and
actually
told
commented
us,
a couple times
you guys
back and
really
forth.
don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
I wonder if I could get him on the show.
That guy's so busy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he probably wouldn't even answer me. I mean, I never even got an acknowledgement out of a couple of people. I mean,
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing with us. That's one of the reasons why we do what we do. We go on a lot of podcasts. We talk to a lot of people. We like to do interviews with a lot of people because,
Yeah, we love doing stuff like this because we like meeting people.
and DA, you've been on the
Absolutely.
show a ton of times. This is how we like to do our show. We just talk. We usually have something we want to talk about, and we talk about it, and then we end up going to wherever the conversation leads.
Yeah.
And that's what's
Kinda
real.
like we did tonight.
And that's what's real. I
Oh,
think
this
people-
show usually goes.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's why people like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's
if
just
it weren't for
something
going
that,
off on tangents, we wouldn't have a direction at all.
yeah, exactly. Any which way but loose.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we need to do this sometime. Get you guys on our show.
Oh, hell yeah. I'm down anytime. You guys know that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We need to get you up here, DA, and go out and creep through the woods.
As soon as I can get our vehicle situation, you guys knew I had a big wreck back at the beginning of November. Well, we're still dealing with that.
Are you really?
The insurance company's dragging their damn feet.
Oh, yeah. That's what they do.
So,
hey,
if we can get another vehicle, I want to start doing some outings.
Yeah. Josh, where are you from around this area? Where are you?
I'm near Toledo, Ohio.
Okay.
I'm a bit far.
Oh, so you can't stop by and say hey?
You can't even get there from
No. I can't cross the pond, man. It's just it's too far. No, I mean I try to get down there when I can. But I got a lot of stuff coming up. I mean, we have Christmas right now, then I'm actually budgeting for a wedding next year. So,
oh snap!
Nice. Your own wedding?
Yes.
Congrats, man! Congrats!
Congratulations!
Thank you very much.
I've been.
Is this your first wedding?
First one that's gonna work.
I was gonna say. Well, that's why I was asking you. You didn't learn your lesson the first time.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair,
I didn't learn my lesson the first time either. So.
To be fair, the first time I was married, I was in the Coast Guard, and I enjoyed hanging out with this girl. And so I was like, man, we get a free house. I get more money. We like hanging out together. Why not get married? 2 weeks later, we're like, wow, we are dumb.
Yeah, what the hell were we thinking?
But we tried making it work for like a year, and we're just like, nah, this.
Yeah, see, and then you got me. I've been with my wife for 20 years, and I'm only 35. Yes, that is a true story.
One of those early arranged weddings, huh?
Yeah, back in the day. Yeah, no, you know what? We talked about the Akashic Records.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a firm believer that me and my wife that she's my people. Like even before we got together when we were 14, before that, we, had that chemistry. And then we got together and we've been together for 20 years now. And we're actually happy. Weird.
Yeah, that's weird.
Hey,
this
good,
coming
man.
year, my wife and I will have been married 29 years. We've been together a little over 30. I was aggravating her one time right after our 20th anniversary. I was still a cop, and she goes, "Can you believe we've been married 20 years already?" I said, 20 years? Good God, I could have killed you and been out of jail by now. She didn't find it near as funny as I did.
I always tell my wife, man, we've been happily married for 15 years. And she's like, we've been married for 16 years. I was like, yeah, well, that first year was a little rough, honey.
There was a caveat to that statement.
My wife and I, our relationship is based on love and sarcasm.
Yeah.
We zing each other constantly.
Our relationship is based off fear.
Yeah.
You're afraid of your wife too. Good man.
I tell you what, I'm pretty tough SOB as long as my wife ain't around.
Yeah. It's like my buddy told me, because I'm a firm believer in Second Amendment, self-defense, all that stuff, we hunt and all that stuff, and we shoot and everything. And my buddies, I was like, yeah, I got my wife this gun. He's like, smart man teach his wife how to shoot. It's like a dumb man teach her how to load it.
Oh Lord.
Gotta love it. Guys, I'm gonna burn. You guys keep doing what you're doing if you want.
I think we're gonna kill it here.
All
yeah,
right,
because
let me put the link up again.
We
guys, tell everybody about the channel again.
We had a blast. So we're the Horror Chronicles podcast. You can see our Facebook there on the bottom of the page. You can find us anywhere. We are on every podcast provider out there. We also have a YouTube channel,
Facebook page.
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, which neither one of us know how to use.
Yeah,
OnlyFans.
And
OnlyFans.
And you can find Ryan on Tinder. You just got to swipe to the right. And
not true.
No, not. Oh yeah, you swipe to the left. I'm sorry.
To the left. I don't even know how that works.
But we're everywhere. Our conversations are a lot like this one was tonight. I mean, we like to sit down at the table with an agenda, but most of the time doesn't work out for us. We
Yep.
just end up babbling about, everything.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man.
So we love the paranormal. We talk a lot about horror movies.
Yes. And we like music too. We talk a little bit about music, but we try to keep it on the horror, the creepy stuff,
and if we can get music and horror movies,
we're happy.
Talk about that
yeah.
all night.
But no, we want to tell you guys, thank you for having us on, man. It's a
Absolutely.
great time. And
Got you on Spotify.
there it is.
There you go.
Just look for the awesome logo.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
And that's where it's
And the
at.
famous tagline.
Yeah.
Keep
it creepy. That's
Hell
right,
yeah.
guys. That's right. So thank you guys so much for having us on here, man. It's awesome, bud.
Hey, anytime,
Awesome.
guys.
Thanks, Moonbeam.
When your delivery schedule slows down after the first of the year, let me know and we'll get you guys back on and we'll talk about all kinds of crazy shit again.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, well, we're gonna get a hold of you anyway and get you down here and
Outstanding. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm down for that. But I would like to do like a more deep dive into the Akashic Records.
100%. I'm down for that. So if you want
we get you guys on again after the first year, I'd like to take a deeper run at
like
that.
A baby.
Oh, yeah.
after a horror movie.
Oh, me too. The horror movies are the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, DA, if you want to come, we could set that show up sometime, anytime. We'll message you on the Akashic
We're always
Records.
here for you. And Josh, you're always welcome.
It was good to meet you,
Appreciate
Josh.
it. Hey, it was great meeting you guys too. A lot of the same stuff I'm into, so I'm excited to go binge in the truck. I can binge your shows and catch up on everything.
You're gonna have a good time, man.
Yeah,
So
we're a couple goofballs.
Yeah.
Nice.
But and if you ever want to come on, let us know.
Absolutely.
Definitely, man. Get a hold of us.
We'll get you on sometime. We'll set a show up and we'll record, man.
Heck yeah, man. I'm
Heck
down
yeah.
like 4 flat tires anytime.
Yeah, both of you. Both of you.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Thanks so much. And everybody in the chat, thank you. Thank you for those who
Thanks for all the
subbed.
love.
And hopefully you guys like what you hear. And
We'll end this the way we always do.
yep. As always, until next time, keep it creepy.
Hell yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Love
Have a
you
great
guys.
night.
Thanks.
Have a good
See you
night, guys.
Bam.
Oh, those guys are awesome.
Oh, I love them. I've done their show like 3 or 4 times now, and it's always a hoot and a half. We have a great time.
Heck yeah.
We'll get to talking about different bands we like. We'll get to talking about our favorite horror films, and it's always a good time on their show.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward because I've been looking for another show. Go to bed. I gave you time till midnight. Go to bed. Okay, love you. Good night. She comes in asking for more Xbox time. I'm like, I gave you time till midnight. Go to bed. I don't care if it's a weekend. Man, she derailed my train of thought.
You had a train of thought?
One
up on me, man.
My train of thought is more like a skipping wild ADD kid, It is sometimes there and then whoo, it's just gone.
Yeah. I'm about there. I'm like like a cat with a laser pointer.
Right. Oh man, yeah, Meg, that was fun as hell. Those guys are awesome.
They're a hoot and a half. I've wanted to have them on before. We've tried to set it up like 2 or 3 times, and each time that they would have something that interfered. One time they were at a convention, going to be at a convention that weekend, and another time they were recording their own show, and then going to be on another podcast. So I've tried to have them on a couple times before, and it just didn't work out. Well, this time I'm really glad it did, and I definitely want to get them back in once his schedule clears up a little bit, and we can hang out for a bit longer because they are fun.
And I hesitate to even bring this up on the air, but I'm going to do it anyway because that's who I am. And I doubt a lot of these guys would ever commit to it, but it'd be kind of cool if we got together and put together a podcasting network of like a bunch of cryptid and horror guys.
I've already talked to them about something like that, about having them become part of the Nightmare Hunter project.
Yeah. And put together a podcasting network, and then we get back to the not so much a convention idea, but it'd be nice to get all these guys that we commingle with, and Cam and these guys and a lot of the other, oh man, this happens all the time on State of the Nerd. I have brain farts.
I do too.
The guy that, the guy who wrote Lucifer that I really like being on the show with, the author that you have on a couple of times.
Mayberry, Jonathan Mayberry.
No. The guy that wrote Lucifer. The First Nations guy.
Shane.
Shane. Man, you guys watch State of the Nerd. My brain does this all the time. Things that are right here are no longer there the second I need it.
Send Shane an invite to be on State of the Nerd. I guarantee he'll do it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Shane's
I want to have
awesome.
Shane on. But I'm saying, like, we have all these guys that we get along really well with. It'd be great to have a type of convention with all these guys and have a meetup like once a year.
Oh yeah, that would be freaking awesome.
Have fans show up and just have a a big hangout. But anyways,
that would be a hoot and a half. I'd love to do that. Moonbeam Raven said, DA listened to your show today with Carrie from BFO today while I was laying flooring today. That was a great show. Thank you for that. Well, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. He was a great guest. We had a really good time.
Yeah, Carrie was a good one.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a lot of good shows recently.
Well, yeah, we've been lucky to get some good people. I've got some requests out to some people now.
Uh-oh. What happened? Oh, folks. Looks like we lost DA again. They've been having some internet issues in Springfield, so good chance that he's probably going to bounce back in and out again. I'm sure he'll be right back. Let's see. Meg, you were just going to text what the meetup idea? I think it'd be a great idea. New sub via PRT. Awesome. I also sub because your channel, because he came up for me from BFR. Also very cool. What else we got here? I'm just going to go through comments while we're waiting on DA to bounce back. Always fun. Been happy with American people here at 6 a.m. Bye all. Go-Go, is good having you again, bud. I appreciate you stopping in. Yeah, Meg, we definitely need to have some sort of meetup. We were originally going to have some sort of DA convention. This is going to be Nightmare Con. We actually own the name to that, so we might still be doing that again. We'll figure something out. It's definitely not off the table completely, so definitely want to do something like that. Let's see. I'm okay with your brain farts. Just don't fart. Hey, at least you're not in the same room if I do, right? Good night, Hooter. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. DA just messaged me. As soon as the internet recycles, he'll be back on. So no worries. I do know that we have some cool shows coming up. Like he said, he has some feelers out to a lot of really great guests. So that'll be awesome. Hopefully, next week, Steve will be back. He was supposed to be back this week, but like DA, internet issues have just been running amok and can't get on. There he is.
Yeah, it killed my green screen again.
Meg said, I'd love to help set up in any way. People are very keen on the idea of some sort of meetup. I think we should revisit the idea of some sort of
I think
convention.
It's a great idea. That would be fantastic.
Yeah,
if we did it anywhere near Springfield, we could take a group down to Joe Bald.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think we should look at it again because what the information we found out from that hotel wasn't too shabby.
No, it was not bad.
And she was really awesome to work with. So I'm sure she'd love to have us again. So
I mean, we could extend the invite to Shane and any number of people that are fairly close to the area.
Mayberry?
I don't know if he'd come, but I can certainly
he joined Hag.
Yeah, I don't know if he'd make it to the show. I mean, he lives in California, but
oh well, yeah, that's true.
Extend the olive branch.
But we got people closer like Cam and Shane. Get Nick down for the Dogman project. Naoma, I'm sure we can get a hand. Yeah. So I think it's possible. Like I was telling them while you were off, we kind of had an idea at one point, and it was never really off the table, just kind of backburnered for now. And maybe we'll bring it up again. Patty says she misses Steve. We all miss Steve.
Yeah, Steve would have been here tonight. I've been texting him off and on. He told me earlier that last night when the storms rolled through, he lost power about 6 p.m. and didn't get it back till about 8 this morning. Their internet is still off. He said he feels like the Amish. I told him if he starts discovering he's got the urge to build a barn in the field behind his apartment to let me know, and maybe we'll have to do an intervention.
So,
this is Josh. God dang it. That's what happens when I keep getting bumped out.
right?
I
Yeah.
will fix that.
Lauren says, and if I pronounce your name wrong, I apologize. She says, I need a podcast on the Hopkinsville's Goblins. Do you know anything about them?
Naomi and I were talking about doing a show on that. So we may be doing one on that here in the very near future.
The Kelly Greenman case.
Yeah, that we were actually talking about doing it. She's actually working on a story about that. So we're probably going to do a podcast on that on one of the Wednesday nights shows with Naoma. This coming Wednesday, I don't have the show programmed yet, but I'm gonna. If you guys are familiar with a lot of the Bigfoot documentaries, there's a production company that does Bigfoot documentaries called Small Town Monsters.
Oh yeah.
One of the guys from Small Town Monsters, Eli Watson, will be joining us on Wednesday. Got a good connection with Eli. Eli is the guy that did the audio book of the Lakeview Man.
Oh, sweet.
So he's going to be joining us on Wednesday to talk about Small Town Monsters and some of the investigations they've done, like up in the Cascades, and talk about some of the evidence they found and things like that. So it's going to be a good night. Patty says Steve is churning butter. I told him he needs one of those flat white brim hats and a beard now.
Lauren, I appreciate the correction on the pronunciation. Apologize. Like I said, sometimes with spellings, you go the best you can.
Giggity.
Let's see. Yeah, no, the Goblin Show I think would be neat. I'm kind of skimming through a wiki on it right now. That sounds really cool. Almost looks like they could be aliens or something.
Yeah, I think it probably was. From what I remember, I've watched a couple of Unsolved Mysteries on it and a couple of podcasts on it as well. But Naomi says that's not too far, from where she lives, and she wants to do a show on that. And I'm 100% down. So I wouldn't say it'd be in the next week or two, but it may be very soon. Meg says DA, the Hobgoblin Ale is from the UK. Yeah, I got to look and see if I can get that shipped here because I would very much like to try it. Which reminds me, I've still got one of the Dogman Ale in my refrigerator.
Did you get a chance to try both the Wild Hunt and the
Valkyrie? I haven't tried the Valkyrie yet, but the Wild Hunt is very good. It's like a blood orange soda with a kick in the teeth.
Oh,
it's got blood orange in it and well, let me read on the can. It says ingredients are water, honey, cranberry juice, blood orange juice, cinnamon, cloves, cardamom, nutmeg, potassium sorbate to protect flavor, and sulfites. You can definitely taste the cranberry, but the blood orange really shines through in that. Mm-hmm. But it's strong. It's like 16.5%. So I just drank the one that night on the show. I was like, 2 will do me in, but yeah, it's really quite good. I will probably do the Valkyrie one this week.
So someone posted this. Chip says, "DA, check out Amazon Terms of Use section 42.10," and I have it pulled up here. I'm going to read it, and it's quite interesting.
Oh yeah.
Acceptable use safety critical systems Your use of the lumberyard materials must comply with the AWS policy. Oh wait, no, hold on. That's expanded. Let me actually pull up the. Basically, it's contingency for zombie apocalypse. And 42.10. Hold on. I'm actually going to do Amazon's page. 42. Oh, it is lumberyard. 42.10. Critical systems. Your use of the lumberyard materials must comply with AWS acceptable use policy. The lumberyard materials are not intended for use with life critical or safety critical systems, such as in the operation of medical equipment, automated transportation systems, autonomous vehicles, air traffic control, nuclear facilities, manned space, or military use in connection with live combat. However, the restriction will not apply in the event of the occurrence, certified by the U.S. Center of Disease Control, of a widespread viral infection transmitted via bites or contact with bodily fluids that causes human corpses to reanimate and seek to consume living human flesh, blood, brain, nerve tissue, and is likely to result in the fall of organized civilization. On the AWS terms of service, this is listed.
That's awesome, though.
That is insane. I mean, I guess you got to plan for all contingencies just in case. Wow. That is really cool.
It's funny that Lauren Booth says zombies, the Cranberries. I mentioned that song in Codename Wild Hunt Operation Blood Eagle, that Clark is playing it on the piano. And I just thought it was a cool touch for the book that he was playing that song very subtly and people weren't recognizing the song. But there is a young lady on YouTube called Gamazda, Gamazda, and that's what she does. She does covers of songs, but on the piano. And her cover of Zombie by the Cranberries is freaking amazing. She does
awesome.
Does a version of Nothing Else Matters by Metallica that'll blow you away too. That girl, that young lady is very talented.
Very cool.
Lauren says she loves that part in the book. Yeah, if you want to hear what that would have sounded like with Clark playing it, just put go onto YouTube and put Zombie by the Cranberries, the Zombie Cranberries piano, and it'll bring her up. She'll want to be one of the top references. She's called Gamazda. I think it's Gamazda. But that girl is incredibly talented. I'd listen to her all the time when I'm writing.
Very nice.
And like I said, she does all kinds of covers. She did Evanescence Bring Me to Life. Fantastic.
Who's going to reinforce the rules? Zombie apocalypse. I think a lot of shows get it right. Whoever enforces the rules are going to be the one with the bigger stick.
It's going to be Zombie with a clipboard. Like,
plus, I'm pretty sure AWS, after about 2 weeks of the zombie apocalypse, is no longer going to be functioning. Now on to Black Panther sightings. I need a podcast about that cat or cat-like cryptids.
There are, if you look up big cats of the UK, there are a lot of talking about a lot of podcasts available that talk about the big cat sightings across the UK. But I haven't seen that many about Black Panther or big black cat sightings here in the States. However, it's not as much of a cryptid situation as it once was. When I was in my teens, I used to go coon hunting with my cousin John. And we had a Black Panther dropped out of a tree and killed his coon dog one night. We both saw it. And when we told the Missouri Department of Conservation about it, they were like, no, those don't exist. You couldn't possibly have seen that. We're like, we're telling you, moron. We watched it happen. No, you were just mistaken. No, we weren't.
Which is how most things get treated, and that sucks.
And it's just melanistic cougars. It's now a proven thing to happen. But
he's not wrong, or they're not wrong.
Yeah, they're just gonna walk right by people on their cell phone and be like,
"No, I'm gonna starve if I eat that." Megan asked how the game was going. We're kind of in a holding pattern at the moment because we got to wait on the Kickstarter, and we're waiting for financial return, government return assistance season.
Moonbeam Raven says, do you have any standout stories from the Pacific Northwest? Actually, if you tuned in on Wednesday, when we have Eli on from Small Town Monsters, they have done several expeditions with the Cascade Bigfoot Project up into the Cascades of the Pacific Northwest, and some of their documentaries are on that very subject. So if you can find them on YouTube, just search Small Town Monsters and look at some of they've got a ton of documentaries about Bigfoot and other cryptids. Great production company. Anytime I get a chance to watch one of theirs, it's always a good time. But Eli Watson from Small Town Monsters will be joining us, and I plan to talk to him about about some of the stuff that they recorded while they were up in the Cascades.
Well, you've also got a couple shows on Port Chatham, and you've had the
that wasn't the Pacific
researcher.
Northwest, though. That was up in Alaska.
Well, I mean, it's Pacific and it's in the Northwest. I mean,
but it's not the area that's considered the Pacific Northwest.
No, but it's kind of over there. I figured I would throw it in there because it does kind of involve that area to a very loose degree. But you also had the Bigfoot researcher on that was involved in a lot of, what was his
Larry
name?
Beans Baxter.
Beans, yeah.
I'd like to get Beans back on. He was a great guest.
For at least stuff that you've talked about that kind of touch in that area, I just wanted to bring that up. Let people go. It's in the show list on YouTube if you want to go catch it. A couple of them in there.
Loren, we've actually done shows, and I've got a couple of videos up when I spent, was it 4 days and 3 nights in LBL?
Yeah.
I was there for quite a bit, and a lot of that time I was just out dicking around in the woods by myself, which in retrospect probably wasn't the smartest thing I've ever done. Well, LBL is a weird area. I spent, like I said, I spent 4 days and 3 nights roaming around the north end of LBL, all over the area where the 1982 event where the family was allegedly killed. I was all through that area, and outside LBL, when I was across the lake and in other parts, I'd see deer, I would see possums, all your usual animals that you will see. I even saw roadkill, but inside LBL, I never saw a single animal in 4 days. Didn't see one, and that was really bizarre.
And in addition to doing the on-site, you've had at least 2 shows where you kind of gone in depth.
Oh yeah,
with stuff going on. Nick, I know Nick was on at least one of those shows where you guys really dug into LBL and a lot of the events that take place there.
Rethink you funny you mentioned Paducah. When I was in LBL, we were staying at a resort. It was like the Turtle Bay Resort or something like that, right there in Grand Rivers. And when I went around Grand Rivers, I would stop in like stores and stuff and talk to people about the events that happened in LBL. And I got stonewalled in Grand Rivers. In fact, one guy threw me out of his store.
We're done here.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about it. That never happened. Get the hell out of the store. Now, in Paducah, on the other hand, people were like, oh, God, yeah. I had like 20 people tell me their accounts in Paducah. They were more than willing to talk about it. And most of them were fishermen that had seen a dogman-like creature from their boat while fishing. And they would see it on the shores of LBL. So there are accounts there dating back to the 1600s all over that area, since long before it was the land between the lakes, back when they used to refer to it as the land between the rivers before the Tennessee Valley Authority put those 2 dams. So long before that area was land between the lakes, it already had sightings dating back to like French trappers that were going through the area before the United States was even in that area.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a rich history of dogman creature type sightings around the LBL area.
You know, speaking of dogman, I thought it was interesting that it was Ryan, right? Who had that experience where he said he saw the hands wrap around.
Yeah, I was
as soon as he said raccoon fingers, I was like, he saw a dogman.
That's exactly what I said.
And then describe the eyes looking forward, you know, on each side of the tree. And, just.
If you watch, Josh, would you grab the link to my LBL video and post it?
Absolutely. I was going to say, it just reminded me of
our own potential dogman encounter. Meg says, DA, you heard something by the cemetery. Yes, I did. I heard something approaching me in the woods. And a couple of times you watch the video, you'll see me actually stop and look over in the direction. And I was alone. I was recording myself from a tripod. So it was just me out there in the woods by that cemetery, and I started hearing something. And first I heard it was like on the far side of that little cemetery, and then I heard it again closer. And the last time when I heard it, it was pretty close, and that's about the time I shut the camera off and I went in the woods to see if I could find it, and I didn't find anything. But I just had that weird feeling like, nobody knows where I'm at. I don't have cell reception, and this is not a great place for me to be with nothing but a knife. And I was like, maybe I'll be somewhere else right now. So I loaded up my camera equipment. I got the hell out of there.
Good night, Patty.
Good night, Patty.
And, I will tell people, though, when you watch the video, I did clean up the audio a little bit on some of the segments because there was a lot of wind. So I want to make it a little easier to hear DA. But I will tell you, I did listen to those segments quite a bit. Whatever he was hearing didn't quite come up on audio, so you wouldn't have been able to hear even
I
if
was
I had
recording
played
with a
up.
tripod with my cell phone on a tripod. So yeah, it's I'm limited by what I can afford for equipment.
There's the
and-
link.
And if I'd have had a better camera with a good mic, and that was even before I had that lapel mic. I didn't. That lapel mic probably would have picked it up because it's really
Good.
sensitive.
Yeah.
But I didn't have it then. I was just recording, and I had to stay within a few feet of the cell phone for it even to pick me up. So I was in there on shoestring equipment. But we're planning on going back. In fact, I would have already been back to LBL. The wife and I had planned to go in November, and then on November 3rd, a intoxicated individual ran a stop line and destroyed my minivan. So we're still dealing with that.
Yeah. Lauren, the video with the peaky whatever it was is still chilling to watch. I watch it now sometimes just unedited, just the old video, the original video, and it stands out so much to me now that watching it, I'll pull it up on my TV because it's so much bigger. Seeing it move just freaks me out.
Meg says I'm very brave. Well, there's a fine line between brave and stupid, and I skipped down that line. And my wife will be the first to tell you that. My mother used to say when I was a young boy that I would blunder in where angels feared to tread, and she ain't wrong. I mean, I've wound up in situations like, oh crap, how am I going to get myself out of this? Many a time, but I've always been fortunate enough to get myself out of it.
Yeah, Hooter, that's awesome, man. He donated a mountain bike to some kids.
That is awesome, dude.
Would you ever venture into other pantheons in your books?
Yes, that's
kind of. Yeah, you're kind of heading that way, aren't you?
Yeah, I've got another book series that's going to debut probably, I would say, summer next year. The first one should appear, and it's going to be called called Project Olympus, and it's a spin-off of the Wild Hunt series.
Yeah, he's kind of given me the roadmap to a loose degree, and sorry, Lauren, that was put in place to help block some of the spammers, so don't worry.
Yeah, just ignore Nightbot.
Yeah, you're excited and you're allowed to be. Just I keep that on because spammers will just totally blow up chat.
And you've seen what we were killing tonight too. We get those a lot. Meg says I'm not stupid. Well, my wife might argue that point with you. In fact, I think she'd probably go, "You don't know him like I do." I remember one time, and this is a prime example of my brain, that my danger sense not kicking in and till 2 seconds too late. I was working a housing unit as a corrections officer in our violent offenders housing unit. And a fight broke out, and these guys were really going at it. One of them had a weapon, and I grabbed the radio and called Code Red Bravo for other officers. Well, ideally, I'm supposed to wait for backup to arrive before wading into the fight because I had 140 inmates in the middle of the room. Mm-hmm. I just shoved my way through the crowd to get to those two, split them up, and I had my knee on one of them and was holding the other one at arm's length. And I looked up and I was surrounded by nothing but inmates. There wasn't a single officer there. And I'm like, oh shit. But fortunately the cavalry arrived right about then.
Damn.
But it was one of those, I wanted to break the fight up so bad I didn't consider the ramifications of where I was going. And, I could have gotten myself hurt or killed at that particular moment. But at that point, fortunately, everybody was still too excited to watch the outcome of the fight to worry too much about me.
Yeah, damn.
But not one of my brainiest moments, but I did get the fight broke up and nobody got seriously hurt.
Let's see. What's that? Josh, may I pick your brain? I have a Wi-Fi keyboard and camera on my TV. Okay, well, shoot. I'm happy to help with techie stuff.
I ask him all the time.
Yep, he's got me on speed dial.
Like, hey Josh, what are you doing? And it's at the point where, and I'm pretty sure when a message pops up for me on his phone, Josh goes, "Oh shit, here we go again."
Nah, I enjoy it. I feel like it's the other way around.
Oh, I found out
Yep.
something, Josh.
Hmm.
I'm not going to name the medication that I'm on, but when we had over Thanksgiving, we had a screw up with my doctor's office, and they didn't call in a refill, so I went almost a week without my meds, and that's a bad time. Well, while I was learning about the withdrawals that I was going to go through because of it, I looked
Right.
at the side effects, and one of the side effects is short-term memory loss. That explains why I keep forgetting shit.
Yeah, that does make sense.
That medication's messing with my memory.
I need to
I-
reread that because apparently they're telling me I misread it. May I pick your brain? Can I have a Wi-Fi keyboard and camera on my TV? Okay. No. You might be able to do a Wi-Fi keyboard, maybe depending on the brand of TV. Like a webcam type thing like we have on our computers right now, probably not.
However, you can Wi-Fi connect your laptop to a smart TV and just put the screen up on the TV.
You can do that.
We do that all the time.
Depends on exactly what you're trying to achieve. I might be able to give you a better solution. You can have monitors that double as monitors and TVs. It just really depends on what you're after here. If you want, you can add me on Facebook, or if you're in the Discord, just shoot me on a message on Discord and we can get into it a little bit deeper. And I can help you out a little bit more to try to do what it is you're after. Let's see. I guess I should have read that better. But yeah, so yeah, there's a lot of projects coming up for all of us.
Oh yeah.
Books and games and maybe meetups and podcast networks and all kinds of fun stuff.
Absolutely. And I'm looking forward to all of it. I mean, if you'd have told me 10 years ago that my writing career would take me to where I'm at today, I probably wouldn't have believed you. And I'm nowhere near like a Mayberry level or anything like that. I'm far from that. But I'm building, and I can't wait to see where the next few years takes us, because we've just in the last 2 years we've had a huge jump, and I want to see where that hopefully that continues, and we continue to grow, and the show continues to evolve, and the books continue to evolve. Here we go again. Good God.
Yeah, I know. I got it. As soon as it pops up in chat, I'm gonna remove it. There it is. It comes in for us faster than it shows up.
Mm-hmm.
DA has a book coming up, right? What about you, Mr. Josh? I do, actually. And it's funny because it actually ties into a lot of what we were talking about earlier. How the mind rationalizes and how we try to not believe what we're seeing. There's not a lot in that in my book, but it does touch on it, especially towards the end. It's got a cryptid in it. I'm not trying to step into DA's space, but I'm fascinated.
Hey, I don't own cryptids, brother. You can write,
I know.
You can write about cryptids.
I do want to expand it into a series, and me and DA have already discussed the second book in that series. And it kind of steps away from that, but stays in the same realm. I also want to touch on shadow people and some other stuff. So my first book is Primal Terror, Sierra Stalker, referring to the High Sierras. And DA, you got one coming out soonish, don't you?
Well, yeah, there's the cover of yours.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's hiding in an advertisement.
And let me take that caption down. I mean, the chat down real fast.
That was your most recent, but you got another one soon, don't you?
Yeah. The codename Wild Hunt, Operation Lily, and Other Tales just dropped the other day. It hasn't been out long. Also, you're going to see more and more of the books appearing in hardback. Should be about 4 or 5 of them already up. I should have the rest of them done as soon as Adam gets the covers to me. Adam Shepard is a good friend of ours. both Josh and mine. He designed these covers you're looking at now, and if you're an author out there looking for a cover artist, I would definitely recommend Adam. He is a fantastic artist, and $50 per cover is dirt cheap.
Yeah, I
don't know
tried
if
to tell him that, but he's
I don't know
like,
if you've priced a cover recently, but yeah, depending on who you ask to do a cover. I mean, if I tried to get Larry Elmore to do a cover for my fantasy novel, it would probably cost me a year's royalty of the book.
so yeah, if you know anyone that needs graphic arts done, not just book covers, Adam also has a wide variety of styles. Like he can do these photorealistic styles, but DA, you've seen him do.
Oh,
you
yeah.
thought it was a 3D rendering,
Mm-hmm.
and it was all hand drawn.
Yeah.
Not these specifically. We're
Yeah.
talking about another one, but yeah, he's got a really good talent for just any graphic arts. So if you want his contact information, let us know.
Well, his contact's right there. Your new book cover at gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of books, I have a commercial that I'm going to play over my books.
I want to address Lauren's question right after that.
I'll go ahead and ask her now.
Well,
okay.
Go ahead and run your commercial.
Okay. Well, Meg said, DA, what's your next book? Lakeview Man 3 is my current project.
From the mind of author D.A. Roberts. Cryptids. Lakeview Man. Apex Predator. Codename Wild Hunt. Zombies. The Ragnarok Rising Saga. Science fiction and fantasy. Lost Legion. Find them all at daroberts.net or amazon.com.
Damn good commercial.
Naomi Finn did that for me.
Yeah. She's extremely talented.
Yes, she is.
Another person with talent in many areas. Okay, Lauren, you had asked. Okay, I didn't say okay Google. I said okay Lauren. Calm down, phone.
Okay. Okay was enough.
Right, Lauren, you had asked if you could do a cryptid series from each state. There was a show at one time called Nightmare Hunter. The shows, I believe, are still on YouTube, correct?
Yes, I didn't take them. Taken down.
They don't necessarily go by state. There are some that are regional. They kind of go. They touched on him and a previous host had gone over a lot of different areas around the world. And I know that you've wanted to kind of dig back into something similar.
Yes, and I want to start hitting that pretty soon.
Yeah. So to answer your question, there is some and there will be some.
Yeah, we may not necessarily break it down by state, but it will definitely be by region.
It's just a little easier because there's so much overlap. Like when you talk about the Pacific Northwest, you've got a handful of states. They all kind of have the same cryptids. Same with the South, Texas to like Florida.
Then
then
you got
about
the skunk ape in the swamps.
Right. And then you go to the Southwest, you got stuff out in the desert, and then you got like Ohio and kind of the Midwest. You've got like Momo and the Ohio bush, they're very similar. So I don't know. There's a lot of different overlaps. I think it's easier to do it regional. State by state would be cool. Traveling with cryptids. I think a state by state, might work better in another format that we had talked about. We talked about possibly doing shorts on YouTube. They're almost like TikTok length. I think if you did state by state, it'd almost be easier to do a short.
Yeah, I would agree.
Fire off a bunch of those. So we've been in discussion about different presentations of information. So we're kicking around a lot of different ideas.
Yeah, so you never know what the future may hold. Mothman areas. Actually, there's been quite a bit
Northeast?
going on. Well, of course, there was the Mount Pleasant area in West Virginia with Mothman, but here in the last couple of years, there have been a lot of Mothman sightings in the Chicago area, which is odd. Also, allegedly, there was a Mothman sighting just before Chernobyl exploded. Mothman's been seen in a lot of places I didn't realize they had been.
You've got a show that kind of touches on Mothman quite a bit. I forget exactly which one it is. I think Naoma was on that one.
So. We had Nick Valente on that one too.
Yeah, you guys were talking about how it was like a portent of doom. I think I even might have been on that show because I remember it heavily.
There's a lot of theories on what Mothman is, but I tend to lean toward it being like a doom omen or a death omen.
Yeah, this part of the show is a great portion just to fire off questions because we burned through our topic quite a bit. So.
And our guests had to call it a night. So
just
here for questions. Moonbeam Raven says, do you think cryptid beings are located in certain states, countries, etc.? I think they're cryptids pretty much everywhere. And if you Google like Australian cryptids, you'll get a list. If you hell, there are over 250 different types of cryptids in Africa. There's just every place that you care to check on. There's some types of cryptids. There's in the Middle East, in Pakistan, Afghanistan, that area, there is a Bigfoot type creature called a Barmanu. And it's known to be very aggressive, and it may tie in with the Giants of Kandahar story.
Nice.
I think it may very well, because it's supposed to live in caves in the mountains of Afghanistan and Pakistan. So I think the Kandahar giant story might be a Barmanu. There are types of Bigfoot, variations on the theme of Bigfoot all over the world. In Australia, you've got the Yowie. In Central Asia and China, you've got the Yeren, you've got the Yeti. Up in Siberia, you've got the Alma, the Almasti. And then, of course, you've got all the various types that have been reported here in the United States: the Gugway, the typical Bigfoot, the swamp ape. I'm sorry, the skunk ape. And then you every place you go, there has been a Bigfoot type creature sighted, with the exception of Antarctica. It's the only place that I have not found a cryptid sighting related to Bigfoot.
Yeah, I was gonna say not Bigfoot, but there have been possible cryptid sightings of like aquatic humanoids down in like the Arctic waters and Antarctic waters. We've talked about this before too. This has got brought up before too, how the thylacine might be being seen again.
There's been people that have been setting out camera traps, and they've got glimpses of creatures that they think may possibly be the thylacine, that it didn't go extinct as previously shown. I honestly, I hope it's out there, because it's an amazing example of science believing something is dead and it's not.
Right.
The coelacanth is a prime example of that. And I think possibly, I mean, the few shows back, we had Max Hawthorne on, who does a lot of research on aquatic cryptids. And I think it's very possible that something like a megalodon may still exist, even though science says it doesn't.
Out of all cryptids that have been named extinct, which one do you think are most likely to exist?
I think the one we have the absolute most anecdotal evidence. There's been hair, scat, footprints. I think Bigfoot is the big one. I think we've had the most evidence collected on Bigfoot, and that's the one that I've had the bulk of my experience with. Although I really started getting into the investigating Dogman. I want to say 15 years ago. Maybe a little longer, but the Dogman fascinates me. Whereas a lot of encounters with Bigfoot, they're what you can consider peaceful encounters, and of course, a lot of encounters with grizzly bears are considered peaceful encounters. But you encounter the wrong one at the wrong time of year, and you're on the menu. And I think that's very similar with Bigfoot, and I think that varies with geography and the type. I don't think there's going to be a quiet encounter with a Gugway. I don't think, and I think the reason why we don't, and Gugway sightings are on the rise, but I think why there's so few of them is so few people survive them. Just another one of those missing 411 cases where somebody went hiking and were never heard from them again. But I think Bigfoot is going to be the one that's got the most momentum to be proven. However, I'm fascinated by Dogman, and I think very much that it is out there.
I'm kind of the same opinion. I think Bigfoot's at this point almost to the point where it's not even a cryptid anymore. Like we're on that borderline where I think in the next decade it will no longer be a cryptid, and Dogman will probably be not too far behind it.
I would agree with that.
I think Bigfoot was asking, or not Bigfoot, Moonbeam was asking about locations of Mothman and Dogman, I believe is what this is referring to.
Mothman has been seen all over the world. Like I was saying earlier, Chernobyl, they had a sighting there prior to the nuclear meltdown. It was supposedly seen in Japan before that reactor went bad. They've been seen here recently all over the Chicago area, like they're leading up to something. Of course, Mount Pleasant or Point Pleasant, West Virginia. The sightings there. If you Google Mothman sightings, you'll find that there's been a number of them all over the world. Dogman seems to be also everywhere. My friend who's been on the show, Leon from England, he researches Dogman in England, and there are a lot of sightings in that area, a lot of credible sightings. There's Dogman been reported in Australia. Then we're having a lot here, and they seem to be, for the majority of them, seem to be here in the Midwest. Well, not all of them, obviously, but there seem to have been a lot of Dogman sightings in the Midwest, and not
Ohio
just the LBL area.
A lot for some reason.
And here lately, there's been quite a few up in the New England area as well. I think the primary difference, like I started to say earlier about how most encounters with grizzlies are peaceful, but you get the wrong one at the wrong time. However, when you read Dogman accounts, they're not that way. Most of them are terrifying accounts, and in many cases people will talk about them barely getting away, and they tend to describe the look of the creature as pure evil or malevolent, demonic.
Right.
So Dogman is very different than Bigfoot. I think it's very aggressive, and I think if you're caught alone out in the woods and you see one up close, odds are good you're not making it back to the car.
Right. Before I get to Lauren's question, I just want to take a quick, what they call on radio, quick station break. If you're enjoying the show, be sure to like, subscribe, because DA goes live twice a week on Wednesdays and Saturdays. And so help out the algorithm by hitting that like button, subscribe for more cool shows.
Share the video with your friends.
Share it. Yes, I was just getting ready to say share the video. And also join our Discord server. We're really trying to keep this conversation that we have on, we interact a lot with you in chat. We can do so all the time in the Discord server. So the link there is posted by Nightbot. It's a great place. We have it broken down into different areas to talk about the books or just cryptids. So go check that out so we can keep this conversation going off the shows as well. Lauren asks, what's your stance on cryptids being flesh and blood versus paranormal?
Me being a law enforcement background, I tend to go with physical evidence. And this is just my personal opinion. I don't claim to be any kind of expert on the subject matter. I relay what I've learned and what I've observed, what I've researched. So I'm not saying anyone else is wrong. I'm just saying this is my opinion on it. I think they're flesh and blood creatures. I don't think you can really explain one mystery by adding a mystery to it. You can't. If Bigfoot is a living creature, a flesh and blood creature, with so many accounts of it eating deer or touching people, or in a few cases attacking people, that means it's a physical creature.
Right.
And as big and powerful as it is, it doesn't need a. Hey, Doc.
Hey, there he is.
Is my internet working now?
We got you.
It is. We got you. 5x5.
Holy crap.
Loving the shirt, Doc.
Yeah.
I wore this just for you, brother.
That's awesome. I wore this one for you.
Hey, there you go.
Bushmills Irish, baby.
I've been trying for the last 2 hours to get on, man. So
you're in.
Well,
in like Flint.
How are y'all doing?
Doing
not
all
too
right.
bad. How you doing?
Where are you at tonight?
Say again?
Where are you at tonight?
Wichita, Kansas.
Well, you're awful close to Tornado Alley. We just had a hell of a time last night.
Bro, I know, man. I've been worrying about all the folks in the local area. I
Right.
got friends in Louisville, Kentucky, and everything. I've been worried about them.
It hit, 6 different states, over 22 confirmed tornado touchdowns, massive destruction. There's a couple of towns in Kentucky and Tennessee that are basically off the map now.
Man, they've got what, over 70 plus confirmed dead now.
And the numbers are growing as they're digging people out of rubble.
It's only going to get more, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I'm not saying this. Hey, Roger, how you doing, brother? I'm not saying this to be a shill, but it emphasizes the need for medical care, trauma kits, trauma training more now than ever it has been.
Absolutely.
100% critically important, guys.
So the traumatic injuries you can get just in the debris of a tornado.
Yeah.
And I've survived a couple of tornadoes. I can tell you what living through one is like firsthand.
Yeah.
When I lived out in Battlefield, Missouri, back in 2003, the tornado came through there, and it looked like God took his finger and just drew a line through town. It was just gone. And it went right through our field, missed our house by less than 50 yards.
Yeah, same. I mean, I remember when I grew up in Mississippi, I saw a tornado rip the roof off of our barn, like surgical precision, and then tearing off the tops of pine trees 70 yards from our house.
Wow.
And, and my youngest son, or my oldest son, was living in Oklahoma City in 1999 when the F5 came through. Oof. And then last year, the F4 and F5 back to back within an hour of each other went through my home county of Covington County, Mississippi on Easter Day of last year, and literally wiped people's houses off the map, man.
Well, when that one hit Battlefield, I'll tell you how bright I am. We were all hunkered in the basement, and it got real quiet. And I'm like, I'm going to go out and look. So I go walking out into the driveway, and it's like dead quiet. And I'm like,
yeah,
why is it so quiet? And I look up, and there's like crap falling out of the sky. And I'm like, what is that? And it was pieces of siding and insulation.
Dude.
And then I heard this god awful roar, like I was standing in the middle of a train tracks with it bearing down on me. And I look over, and there it was coming right at us. And I am chucking ass back to the basement, trying to get duck back inside. And it barely missed us, but man, it destroyed our neighborhood. I spent the rest of that night going house to house in the neighborhood, digging people out of rubble.
It's horrifying. I was talking to some of the guys out here that have family out in Kentucky, and I'm teaching out at Rainier Arms Academy this weekend. And one of the guys was like, yeah, man, the debris field was 35,000 feet high. 35,000. That's flight level 350. That's way the hell up there, man. That means that son of a bitch had some serious suction on it.
Mm. Well, when the I think it was in 2008 when I think it was an F5 tornado flattened Joplin, Missouri. We had debris landed in our yard, and they're 60 miles away.
Man, yeah. God bless those people. I'm praying for them tonight, man, because whatever God you pray to, pray for their strength and their comfort and their well-being.
Absolutely, because these people, their lives are just devastated.
Yeah,
those storms just did a number on the Midwest.
Yeah, 100%, man. It's been a horrible night, man, or a horrible day for those folks.
We were really lucky. I mean, it knocked out power in Springfield, parts of Springfield for most of the night, but we didn't really get anything but strong winds here at my house. The worst of the storms bypassed us, so we were pretty blessed. But I know people out that direction, and not everybody's checked in. So
yeah. Well, we'll keep a good word out for them, man.
Absolutely.
That's 100%.
Lift a glass for them.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So what's going on, man? What are y'all, what's the topic of discussion? I've been waiting for this all night. I've been trying to get my internet.
Well, we had the guys from Horror Chronicles on, and we talked cryptids and horror and movies and stuff, but they both had to get up for normal jobs early, so they had to bug out on us, and we were just talking and answering questions from the crowd at this point.
Well, you'll be glad to know I was showing some of my kits in class today, and I had my kit with a Team Odin patch on it. And some of the guys are like, so what's this Team Odin thing about? And I started talking to them and discussing people. And this one guy's like, dude, I love cryptid horror. I love zombie horror. I love science fiction. I said, check out my buddy DA. He will get you squared away. And if you order one of my kits, you'll get that Team Odin patch on there. So I was plugging you today during the class, man.
Well,
so,
I appreciate it, brother. Thank you very much.
My pleasure, my man. My pleasure. No worries at all.
And folks, if you guys are interested in picking up a Dark Angel medical kit, this example of the tornadoes hitting Heartland is a prime example. You never know what emergency you might need a med kit for. And these kits are the best in the business. They got the lifetime guarantee on these kits. If you use your kit to save a life, they will replenish the kit for free forever. The lifetime kit. And if you go to darkangelmedical.com and use discount code cryptid25 at checkout, you'll get 25% off your order.
Absolutely. I'm gonna give y'all a little what's up on this, man. This is pretty cool. I talked to 2 folks this week that have used our kits just in the last 2 weeks. One guy used our tourniquet on on a guy. He was a police officer. The young man did not want to live any longer, attempted suicide, and he used a kit to save the guy's life. And another guy was a Arizona state police officer, state trooper. Gentleman was shot in the chest 8 times. 8.
Jesus.
And he used all the chest seals he had along with duct tape and everything else. And this has been 5 days ago, and the victim is still alive, critical condition, but stable and expected to survive.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, the time chooses you. So if y'all need a kit, look us up. We will back you 100%.
And never underestimate the power of a roll of redneck repair tape.
I used it today. I used my duct tape today, brother.
I use mine all the time, man. That's life-saving shit.
Hey, one of the dudes came in from the range. He's like, Doc, I had to stop the class. He's like, Doc, I cut myself. And I was like, I looked at him and said, yeah, you cut yourself. He was cutting something. The knife went from here out here. It was a through. I was like, yeah, you didn't cut yourself. You cut the shit out of yourself. So I got some gauze and some duct tape and wrapped him up, man. Because surgical tape in that case is like a spitting on the forest fire, man. It ain't gonna happen.
Yeah. Moonbeam Raven asks, where do you get your best research done, online versus in the field? Online is great for if you want to read accounts and look at pictures and listen to podcasts about other people's research. But your best evidence is always going to be found with boots on the ground. Mm-hmm. All of the best stories I've got involve me doing something stupid and being someplace I probably shouldn't have been.
You got another one here. Are gargoyles reported a lot? More
than you would think. Seem to be a lot of them reported out in the Southwest. There's been accounts of people seeing them flying next to their car, and other accounts of them running next to the vehicle, which would probably encourage me to see how fast my car was capable of going, whether it was legal or otherwise.
I think Dogman and Leprechauns act a lot alike. A lot of shenanigans and a lot of I would apply that more to a Bigfoot than a Dogman. I
would agree. Dogman encounters generally aren't friendly.
No, or shenanigan like. Being disemboweled and eaten is less shenanigan.
Where does that get fun?
That sounds like Super Troopers. Their shenanigans are mean and hurtful.
Ours are fun and silly.
Exactly, man.
Theirs aren't shenanigans at all.
I'm going to pistol whip the next guy that says shenanigans.
Hey, Farva, what's that restaurant with all the kitschy shit on the walls?
Oh, shenanigans? You guys talking about shenanigans?
Oh, seen that movie way too many times.
Love that movie.
Exactly.
Oh, let's see. Roger says, good, man. How about you?
Werewolf had a question. I couldn't find the Team Odin on your site. Okay, Werewolf, listen up. If you use the code cryptid25, enter in your order notes, Team Odin tab, we'll put one on your kit. That's the way you do it. Sorry, not trying to hijack the thread, man.
Dude, you were
No.
the question was asked.
Yeah,
That's what we're doing is answering questions.
Yeah.
Moonbeam says she or they hunt. Apologize. It's hard to tell Moonbeam Raven which way we're going here. Hunting and listening, watching these live streams have me shook. Not sure if I want to go back. I mean, you go protected. Get yourself a Team Odin kit. Protect yourself. Be well armed and go with a buddy.
Yeah, and make sure somebody knows where you're at.
Yeah,
because in some of the places I've been, cell phone reception was on an LBL. There was no place I was at in LBL where I ever got reception.
Man, that's scary, dude. Seriously?
Yeah, a lot of time I was in there alone.
Damn.
Says,
I'm not the brightest bulb in the pack sometimes.
Hiking's been fine because of the pandemic. A lot of people have been out, so I'm not alone. But I'm always looking and don't feel comfortable. If you're always looking, we want to look up.
Make sure you look up
because they're not going to be in your field of vision. They're going to be above and on this. Think about them like raptors that can climb trees.
We just had Carrie Arnold on the other night from Bigfoot. God dang it.
Bigfoot.
It begins with an O. Just completely.
Oh, man.
My short-term memory sucks since I've been on that medication.
And I just don't have one, so.
But we had him. Bigfoot Odyssey. Yeah, we just had him on the other night, and we were talking about the camouflage ability, which so many people talk about Bigfoot cloaking and things like that. And again, folks, this is my opinion. Take it with a grain of salt. I could be wrong. I'm not going to say people who believe Bigfoot can cloak or they're from other dimensions. I'm not going to say they're wrong. I'm just saying this is my opinion. But Carrie Arnold talked about how certain species, and was talking about it specifically with Bigfoot, if they have a grayer skin tone, it tends to pick up the color of the foliage it's around. And especially if it's got...
I did hear that one.
Yeah, and especially depending on what the composition of the hair. Now, if this thing is adapted to hiding and staying away from us, it's simply crouching down in thick bushes and not making direct eye contact is going to make it blend in with its surroundings. I've got a buddy that I've been trying to get on the show. Rick, if you're listening, love you, brother. Hope you can actually make it. But I've got another friend that was an Army Ranger, and Rick was a sniper with the Rangers. My buddy Mike Donald, who was a Ranger, we went deer hunting one time, and we walked into the woods, and he tapped me on the shoulder, and I turned around, and I couldn't find the son of a bitch. He was just gone. And that's a guy.
That's a guy with a couple years of experience versus a creature with thousands of years of evolution.
Right.
Yeah.
Mike's like, let me know if you can see me.
DA, that's part of passing sniper school.
Right. And I will tell you, never ever play paintball with an Army Ranger.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be washing a lot of your clothes.
Yeah. I guarantee you that they will see you
long before
you'll ever see them.
Gary, Super Troopers required training for Leos. Yeah, pretty much. I can't tell you the number of times that we played the Meow game.
Carrie, didn't you say one of your sons is a Ranger?
Yeah, my son-in-law's in 3rd Bat in Fort Benning. He's deployed right now.
Those guys are high speed, man.
Yeah,
and I'm more like moderate speed, some drag.
Hey, Carrie, next time he's back stateside, tell him if he's looking for good barbecue, look up Macon Road Barbecue.
I will do that, sir.
He might have already heard it. I don't know. I had a great uncle. I still have got a great aunt down there. They're a couple miles from I guess it's the main gate, the infantry museum.
Yeah. My daughter and 4 of our grandbabies are down there. I'll tell them to go check that out.
It's like Midtown and all. It's like literally it's typical Southern barbecue. The wood pit out back.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you walk. It's like they stopped decorating in like early 1990s.
That's the best kind right there, man.
Heck yeah,
that's for sure.
Monduck, are you referring to? I'm just Googled what you typed. I don't know anything about mini
don't
T-Rexes.
That's
There's
not
a
something I'm
new
familiar with.
a new species that they're calling a mini T-Rex called a
Nanotyrannosaurus.
Susquetirannus. Azale? I don't know.
They ain't the one they were talking about on Dino Hunters. They said something that's called a Nanotyrannus.
I honestly
Thought
have
a
a
nanner was something you peeled and ate.
got that
Sorry.
nanotechnology.
Doc knows what I'm talking about. You feel my pain there.
Hey,
So
I
that's
tell
a nanner.
folks
It's Christmas
in
time.
class,
It's time for nanner pudding.
I said, you got one foot in the grave and one on a nanner peel, so that's what's up.
So I want to present a small theory here that I have about T-Rexes, and it's just my theory that I've kind of absconded from somebody else. So it has to do with their short arms. Actually, has anyone ever looked at the skeleton of an ostrich?
No.
If you look at the skeleton of an ostrich, they have big wings. If you ever seen an ostrich doing their fan dance, they got some pretty big wings. But their arms are very short because the cartilage breaks down and they don't actually have, or the hollow bones and stuff that support the wings are gone. The arms placement and size are very similar to that of a T-Rex. And scientists have always claimed that they weren't quite sure on the composition that we currently agree on for a T-Rex right now. A lot of fossil records are guesses on how it's supposed to be put together unless we find a full skeleton.
Which I thought I saw somewhere they found a pretty good intact skeleton somewhere.
Right. So
they found a T-Rex that had been locked in battle with a Triceratops.
So what's interesting about a T-Rex is if you add wings to a T-Rex, it looks exactly what we think a dragon looks like.
Well, that's terrifying.
And if you think about the T-Rex's two-fingered hands,
technically it would be a wyvern because dragons have front legs.
It would be a wyvern more than a dragon. But it think about it though, it changes that really clumsy body type that it has, and you add wings to it, and it just fits perfectly. And the wings most likely wouldn't show up in the fossil record.
Feathers don't fossilize, not well.
Feathers
and
wings, hair. It's very rare. Like we barely know about like pterodactyls and stuff like that, because it's like D8 said, it takes very specific circumstances to get a fossil record, and even more so to get something with hollow bones.
Yeah.
So
Werewolf says, I've been turkey hunting, had a guy almost step on me, walk right by me, and never saw me.
Yeah.
I was up by Richland, Missouri, which is close to Rolla. I was up at Richland, Missouri one time deer hunting. I'm turkey hunting on a buddy's land, and I was supposed to be the only one out there. And little did I know his neighbor had snuck onto his land and was hunting on his land with that when he wasn't supposed to be there. And his neighbor was also a complete dumbass. Well, I was hidden, and I was doing a couple of calls. I had my mouth call in and was just kind of clucking a little bit. And he pops up out of the bushes and yells, "A turkey!" and blew the shit out of the bushes right next to me. I felt the pressure wave go right by me. I popped up out of the bushes and spit that call out and leveled my shotgun. I'm like, "You stupid son of a bitch."
Oh my God.
He damn near killed me.
Wow.
If he'd have been a better shot, he'd have killed me.
I mean, I was wearing multicam Mississippi down on a Red Creek. Me and my brother were hunting on his property. He went right past me, like 4 feet in front of me. Never saw me. Thank God he had better trigger discipline than that dude did.
That guy wasn't even supposed to be out there hunting. I was pissed. He's lucky I didn't shoot.
Hauled in at least, DA?
Do what?
I said, did you have him hauled in by the game warden?
I turned him in, and I also might have sped his exfiltration from the area with a few placed ground strikes nearby. To say he was stepping and fetching was an understatement. I might have expedited his exfiltration.
Are we doing Saturday Night Special?
Well, maybe.
I like the Charlie Daniels reference. That's good.
I love CDB.
Rider.
There you go.
Same. Had him stepping and fetching like his head was on fire and his ass was catching.
Hey, you gotcha. Amazing what a few shots of a 12-gauge turkey load will do to the ground in a close proximity to an asshole that wasn't supposed to be there.
Yeah. That
No,
typically expedites their departure.
That's right. It sure did.
Now you want to talk about a pucker factor? Let a damn truck tire blow. Have you ever seen
Those things
that
sound
one?
like I've been in the proximity when one of them blew, and those things sound like cannon going off.
We have one of the we have big Heister 190 forklifts, so it's like a 10-22.5 tire. So, and we had one blow on the yard one time. All you saw was this like cloud of dirt and a damn, like you said, cannon go off.
Yeah.
And it was a freaking crater like this in the ground under where the tire blew.
A lot of air pressure.
Yeah.
That's why when you inflate the thing, you put it in a cage.
Yeah. We had a
Did you see that video of that old boy that was inflating the tire, and he had the truck tire setting up? He was inflating it, and he was crouched in the cage. I'm like, that's not how that works.
Yeah. Yeah. One of my friends in high school, his daddy had a service station right across the road from us, and he was inflating a semi tire. It blew. We heard it. We were at lunch. We heard it. It took 4 fingers off his hand, and ripped his arm wide open.
I bet it did.
Oh, he almost died.
That's a time when you have to have a tourniquet on hand.
Yeah, he almost died from blood loss, 100%. Yeah.
Poor guy.
Yeah. So, yeah, those things have a lot of pressure, man. A lot
Can
of
do
pressure.
a lot of damage.
Typical load is 115, 120 psi. Depends on how heavy you want to fill it.
Yeah. Way more than I want to be around when it closes.
That ain't no
for
joke.
sure.
Yeah, I'm going to take a big old pass on that one.
Yeah, 100%. What we got going on here in the questions?
Josh, got any more
Quick.
questions?
Eric.
Mondarch had said in reference to the mini T-Rexes, they'd been seen in the Four Corners. The late J.C. Johnson talked about them supposedly seen in West Texas. And I've heard that, too, that people in Texas have seen dinosaurs of some kind.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good thing it ain't in South Louisiana, because they'd be making little T-Rex gumbo.
Oh, yeah, we had
them
them things
rascals.
around there for a year. We just throw them right in there with the gators.
They'll make a gumbo out of anything, man.
Yep. Hey, you ever had nutrient rat gumbo?
No, I have not. I have. However, had from a little roadside shop. What do they call alligator wings? Where they fry the leg knuckles up. Those are pretty tasty.
Pretty tasty, man. Not gonna lie.
They
Nutrient
were-
rat's not bad at all.
They were hot as hell. I'll tell you that. Gave me a bad case of spicy hind end later too.
You'd be singing that Johnny Cash "Ring of Fire," son. That's for
You
sure.
ain't wrong. I like Cajun food, but it don't like me back sometimes.
Oh mercy.
Well, if any of y'all have any more questions, feel free to fire them off. Moonbeam made gumbo last night.
We've got a Cajun place here in town called I think it's the Louisiana Grill or something like that. They moved up to this area after Katrina, and they've got some really good food. They make these homemade spicy pickles. Oh my god,
Man.
those things are just freaking awesome. And you can order them as fried pickles, deep fried pickles with those spicy pickles. Oh my god, those things are so good.
Yeah.
Now I want a plate full of them. Now you got me talking about it.
Yeah, you come out here to Colorado. We'll take you to a place called the Lost Cajun. It's a bunch of folks that came up from Louisiana after Katrina as well up here, and the gumbo and everything is all in the root.
Mhm.
And they make some fine gumbo. They make this stuff called boudin balls.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, they make those here
boudin,
too.
yeah, man. The boudin is like, if you never had boudin, it's like, I call it redneck haggis, and it is. It's fine,
That's a good
man.
description.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Have y'all had alligator? Yes, I've had alligator many times.
Yes.
It is pretty good. There's a restaurant
delicious.
down in Branson that serves it. It's pretty good. But,
Delicious.
Have you ever had
Yeah.
snapping turtle?
I have. Yeah.
Snapping turtle's pretty good.
Yeah.
Have you ever had raccoon?
I have. Tastes
I
like
don't-
roast beef.
I don't recommend it. I didn't like it.
I had it. It was like pulled pork the way they mixed
Yeah, that's
it
the way
with
I
the
had it, but it was real
barbecue.
gamey. Ooh.
It was the way that I had it was pretty decent, but yeah, it's like bear's real greasy.
Yeah, I've had bear
Real.
several times.
Yeah,
Rattlesnake's a little greasy.
it's tasty though.
It is good.
I'd rather eat them than them eat me.
Yeah, you got a point.
Carrie,
Yes, sir.
I ain't plugging a product or nothing here, but I just figured I'd point it out. I found this at the drug at CVS tonight. I walked in the store with a migraine headache, and I found these over on the shelf. Might be something for a kit for you for later on.
Yeah, that could be good in our boo boo kits.
There you go.
Send me a link to that. Send me a link to that, man.
I'll take a picture and I'll shoot you. Like I said, all it is just a little strip of peel and stick soft cool gel.
All right.
Lasted about 5 or 6 hours. It says 8.
All right. I'm down. Anything makes people's life more comfortable, man. That's what I'm all about.
Because they said, like I said, migraine sprain and be good for a sprain too. I was like, how might let Carrie know about these?
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, send me that info, man. I'll be interested in checking them folks out.
Ooh.
Hey, they're out of Georgia, it says.
Oh. Right
It
on.
says it's a KOBAYASHI. And they're out of Dalton, Georgia.
All
Or is
right.
this where the P.O. box is? Like I said,
Wow.
like I said, it was either that or the Excedrin, so I went with this first.
Yeah, I don't blame you, man.
I might look
Excedrin.
like some. I might look like something. I might look like something out of a damn war movie half the day, but I didn't give a damn. The shit worked.
Yeah. Excedrin treats your liver like a speed bag, man. That stuff's pretty nasty.
Best remedy for a migraine: 2 fingers of Bushmills Irish whiskey, and sometimes you use different fingers.
Well, I was going into work, DA. I was trying to make. It was either that or call out, and I just soldiered on.
And then once in a while, if you had a really bad day, it's 2 fingers and a very generous thumb.
Are you drinking the whole canteen cup?
At that point, it's pretty much the canteen cup. Yeah.
We just tell folks in the medical field, titrate to effect. That's the way you work it. Titrate to effect.
What was you told me after the wreck? 2 large whiskeys and call you in the morning.
That's correct. That's correct.
I'm like, but honey, it was a prescription.
Doc told me this.
That's right.
It's gotta be real.
It's medicinal, really. You're telling me a whiskey called Bullet is medicinal? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely it is. 100%.
Mondoc asked a question that didn't make it into the restream feed. It said, "Have you ever had camel?"
I have never had camel.
I have not either. Well, not knowingly, I was in the Middle East for several deployments, so I ate a bunch of shawarmas off of a street cart. So
Taking your life in your own hands, Carrie.
mystery meat, man. It might have been camel. I don't know. It was tasty, whatever it was.
How was the
I don't see too
after
many-
effects?
Yeah, I was fine. I don't see too many cows out there. I carried all the Cipro and Flagyl for our team, so it was all good.
Moonbeam says, "What's the next show going to be about?"
Wednesday night.
Yeah, I would
Wednesday
imagine.
night show. We're going to have Eli Watson from Small Town Monsters on to talk about not only the Small Town Monsters, Bigfoot, and cryptid documentaries, but some of his own personal experiences when he went up into the Cascades with the Cascade Bigfoot project. So it's going to be an interesting show.
I don't.
Heck yeah. And you'll be joined by Naoma on that one.
Correct. And Josh, you're always welcome to jump in, man.
I'll be working.
Oh, that's right. You'll be at work.
I'm a
Steve at
Saturday
tonight,
man.
DA?
What's that?
Where's Steve at?
He's still suffering from the storm that went through last night. He lost power from about 6 p.m. yesterday to about 8 this morning, and they still haven't reestablished internet on his side of town. He told me he feels like he's living with the Amish.
Wow.
I figured it was either that or he was on who's been voluntold to show up to work the ER.
Might be too.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah.
So
I
you,
know.
you say Springfield's level 1.
I was driving across Kansas yesterday, and it was pretty nasty until about an hour and a half before I got into Wichita. So it was nasty. So I couldn't imagine what kind of front hit everybody else.
It was nasty. But again, we were pretty fortunate here. It could have hit us a lot worse, and we were pretty lucky to have ducked the worst of it.
Yeah. Amen to that.
Yeah, really, the only thing it did to Springfield was inconvenience a lot of folks because they lost power, and it really tore up a lot of places that we were pretty fortunate it didn't get us.
What did you hear about Did you hear about the train car in Kentucky?
What happened with the train car?
A train was coming through when it hit, derailed the train. One of the train cars ended up 75 feet from the track.
Oof, that takes some power.
Yeah.
This thing's got to be a F5. Ain't the F5 so powerful?
Yeah, they were saying the winds were over 300 miles an hour.
That's bad. Oof.
Yeah.
Doc, did you see the comment from Hooter Transport?
I'm gonna order some stuff. Hello Kitty Band-Aids. I believe I can do some Hello Kitty Band-Aids for you, brother. That's just put in the order notes Hello Kitty Band-Aids, and I will be happy to throw those in there for him.
That'd be great.
Not a problem.
Just let your stuffer know that as well, Kerry, in case he gets his hands on it.
Yeah, and Josh, you should have your other stuff coming in to you within the next day or two.
Okay.
I sent it out.
I said no rush.
Yeah, I sent it out.
No rush.
Man. All good.
How'd y'all come together? How'd y'all get together and meld so well with ideas and outlooks on different beliefs? And to believe you me, there is a wildly different views across the four of us here. But what's great about the four of us here is we all respect not only each other, but people in general.
Yeah. Sorry, Josh, didn't mean to interrupt you, but that's one of the big problems in the cryptid community is so many people with different opinions just get into nasty arguments and name calling, and there's so much infighting in the cryptid community. It's really kind of disheartening. But I refuse to dismiss anybody else's beliefs, even if they're different than mine. They could be right. I don't know. I make no claims of being any kind of expert, and anybody that tells you they're an expert in the cryptid field is selling something.
Yeah. Your beliefs are your own. Your experiences are your own. And if anybody discounts those, then they're not open to having a different point of view, a different perspective.
And that goes well beyond just our cryptid beliefs too. There's different religious beliefs in this group and other people who've joined us. There's different political beliefs just in this four people here. And none of us, I don't think, care what the other person believes in politically, religiously, spiritually. I mean, we care that we're happy, we're healthy, and we respect each other.
Amen.
And that's really all that matters. Because I don't care which way these guys vote. I don't care which way these guys who they bow their head to. As long as that makes them happy when they do it.
Right. Exactly.
Correct. Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest problem in not just America, the world right now is too many people worried about what other people are doing.
And yeah, we're very different. I mean, Josh has a man bun and Doc's a hobbit.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, hey, and I'm okay with that. It's all about it's what Josh is saying. It's all about mutual respect.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And we all respect each other's point of view, because everybody in here and everybody that's on this show, DA and Josh have different guys on and different folks on all the time. Nobody's going to have the same point of view. Everybody
Exactly.
has their own perspective on things. As long as you can engage in a
Civilized conversation.
civilized discourse,
Yes.
then that's what it's all about, man. Is remaining civil and keeping everything on the up and up. Because at the end of the day, we're not here for each other. We're here for the folks that are listening to us.
Exactly.
And coming here to get, hey, a different point of view, because otherwise you're in an echo chamber.
Yeah.
And that's and what's the benefit of that,
Exactly. And when you're dealing with cryptids or pretty much anything in life, to be honest, if you're only listening to one point of view, you're missing out on the bigger picture.
Absolutely.
And it's one of the great things about America is all our differences is what made us strong.
Yeah.
Amen.
Because
And having the ability to sit there and go, that's a different point of view than I have, but I agree with that and there's nothing wrong with that.
Right. And I think what's great too is even if you don't agree with someone's opinion, I think by seeing other people's opinions and seeing different point of views, it allows you to reevaluate your own opinions and beliefs.
Exactly.
Keep yourself in check, because some people times get into a rut. There's been many times I've changed my opinion, not because I agree with the person, but their point made me reevaluate my own space and be like, you know what? While I don't agree with that, I may not be entirely right either. I might have to re-examine what I believe in. And that's what's great about having civil discourse is finding common ground
or it educates you to take a different stance,
or even see a point of view that you never even considered.
That's one of the things about learning about cryptids is you've got to study cryptids with an open mind, because you've got to go where the evidence takes you, not where your opinion says it has to go. It's just like same thing in law enforcement. You can't make the scenario fit your belief. You have to shape the scenario based on the evidence.
Yeah.
Let the evidence speak for itself.
Yeah, it's like we say in the medical field, it's evidence-based medicine. And if it's scientifically documented, that's pretty much kind of irrefutable data right there. And you can't refute scientific data. Like all the environmental DNA, some of these investigators are collecting right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not quite Homo sapiens. It's not quite primate. It's somewhere kind of in the middle. You can't refute that. That's science, man. That's hard data.
That's why I laugh when people say, well, there's no evidence that Bigfoot's real. There's a ton of evidence. You just refuse to accept any of it.
Right. Exactly. And just because you refuse to accept it doesn't make everybody else wrong. It doesn't make you right. But it definitely doesn't make everybody else wrong, because irrefutable data is
one
out
of the
there.
channels I listen to has a saying, and I love the saying. She always says that absence of proof is not proof of absence.
Ooh,
do the British.
Oh, the British Museum. That was my joke. I always talk about the British Museum before they proved the existence of gorillas. All these hunters and explorers coming back from Africa talking about these great apes, and the British Museum's like, oh no, that couldn't possibly exist. It's just native tales. It's not real. And then someone comes in and plunks a body down. And he's like, oh yeah, yes, absolutely. I saw it first. I get to name it.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, Moonbeam, that's awesome. We appreciate that. And it's still crazy to me to believe this, to think about this as a community, because it's grown so quickly and so large, but it's awesome having you guys in chat and being able to talk with everybody. I really wish more people would join the Discord group. I hit this earlier and I'm going to say it again, because I want to talk to you guys more, and can't do that when the shows aren't running. But DA and I hang out in the Discord. I mean, it's always on our phone. you can always talk with us and other people. Other fans are in there. Sal's in there. I can't even list everybody that's in there because Dalton's in there. We're logged into it. Just we need more people to have those discussions. The North American Dogman Project's tied to it. His books are tied to it, and just open discussion is in there too. We could talk about anything. Talk about Christmas, Thanksgiving, cryptids, whatever you want.
Absolutely.
Sorry, I'm off my Discord horse now. I tend to ride that thing into the ground.
I didn't get you talk about Discord. I thought I did pretty good with my letter to the troops. I had
that was good. That was good.
That was off the cuff.
You have to do a Christmas one too.
All right, I'll get on that so we can get actually out on time. I'll try and get something hashed together.
Meg says, "Go ahead."
I was gonna say, did you see that, Carrie?
No, what's that?
The letter to the troops I had DA post for Wild Hunt.
I did not see that.
Yeah, it's on the socials too, outside of Discord. I think he posted on Facebook too. It was really well written. Like I was like, damn, this is pretty damn good.
Like I said, that was just off the cuff.
Well,
it was.
Yeah, DA, send me a link to that Discord, man. I'm gonna get on that.
Sure,
for sure. Please, sir.
Let me know what your username is too. We'll bump you up to co-host since you're on all the time. Gives you more privileges too.
All right, right on. When I get back home, I'm using a different computer here in Wichita, but when I get back home, I'll shoot you my info, Josh.
Okay. Because yeah, you can have it on your PC, you can have it on your phone, your tablet. I mean, you can get it anywhere.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, because I carry my phone with me all the time.
And like I said, we got it broken down into different categories where you can, like I said, just talk just about the books. If you want to talk about spoilers, that way it's kind of spoiler free. You can, people who've read it can jump into each individual book area. So it's not, if you're not completely caught up on Apex, but you are on Lakeview, you can break that out. And if you do join the patrons too, there's even more expanded access for those that are patrons because they've helped plan titles and do some shaping there.
Well, my apologies to the Patreon community. It kind of got a little neglected over the last few weeks since the accident. I apologize. That's going to get
nobody
rectified,
can blame you for that, man.
The last month has sucked.
No one can blame you for not putting out stories when you're hit by a car. I mean, there's some wiggle room there,
yeah,
but
I'm still going to the chiropractor trying to get that mess.
It's been 2 weeks. Yeah, I think you need to get on the keyboard though.
Yeah, little bit of the All Father's grace on that one. That's for sure.
Hell yeah. So I'm pretty sure your fans are quite understanding that you went through something traumatic and you weren't able to, deliver. I think they're okay with that.
I'll tell you though, one thing I did experience that was really weird in that is when you're on the side of a van and you're sliding forward, why is your first reaction to try to put it in park?
As someone who's been in a car accident,
I don't know why I did it, but I did.
Done it. Don't know why.
Like I should probably put this in park and shut the engine off.
Yeah.
Or why are you hitting the brakes?
Yeah.
Why are you hitting the brakes when the wheels aren't even on the road?
We came to a stop, and my first thought is, why am I wet? We just picked up food from McDonald's. Had 4 drinks in a tray. My son was holding them. So when we flip over onto the driver's side, guess what happened to me? I was wearing the drinks.
Oh man!
At least you didn't land in a bed of fire ants. That's for sure.
Thank God.
I know when I had my accident, my first thought after trying to turn the engine off was, that was weird. I'm on the driver's side on the ground. My buddy's hanging above me, and we slid for a while. I'm like, why are you there? It takes a minute for your brain to catch up to everything that has happened. I
was pretty addled for a while.
It's hard to process all that. It's a lot of stimuli coming in.
I'm glad that I was me being retired from law enforcement. It's fortunate that I still know a lot of the guys that are on duty. It was one of the first things I looked up at one of the SPD officers, and I'm like, secure my pistol. Secure this. I'm not getting on the ambulance with it and letting them lose it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rosa, no problem. The Facebook groups are great, but the Discord community is also a perfect place to hang out with us too.
Absolutely.
I feel like a lot of us are only on Facebook anymore anyway, just because of the groups and the pages. I know that's my excuse. If it wasn't for those, I would have ditched it a long time ago.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah, I use Facebook a lot to market the books, so that's I probably would have murdered my Facebook page a long time ago if it weren't for that.
That's the only reason I'm on Facebook right now is because of my business. That's it.
Now you talk about accidents. I don't know if I ever told you about mine. About 10 years ago, I come behind the planer, and we got it's a little walkway, and it's got two sticks you're supposed to pull out so people don't walk between it when it's running. Well, somebody pulled one of them out, and it was jammed in there. Before I could back out, I got pushed into the belt that takes on out to the gas stack. And I'm talking the heavy alligator lacing like you see on the like a food line on the belts, if you know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Got caught on my leg, and only made it less bad as I just pushed myself up and flopped on the belt like a fish and rolled off. And went and sat down in the little tool shed / break room, and was like, looked over, saw a damn pants store. I was like, well, yeah, shit, I'm gonna have to go to damn Walmart and get another pair. Then I started feeling something wet. I looked over, it's like, and see gristle. I'm like, shit.
Oh, yummy.
There goes.
Get dragged on a conveyor belt in a sawmill. Probably needed to change your underwear too.
Yeah, I was going to say it might be something else wet besides the blood.
No.
That's for sure.
No, it happened so fast. Couldn't even process that part. It's just like I said. I didn't fight it. Would have made it worse. I just kind of went with it and wiggled my way up and flopped on the belt like a damn dead fish and rode it halfway down and rolled off. That was 10, 12 stitches, if I remember correctly.
Jesus.
Probably about yay long.
That'll do it. Well, boys, it is getting a little late. I think we're going to start winding her down. And want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. I want to especially thank our guests that came in from Horror Chronicles. Those guys are awesome. We're going to have them back on the show after the first of the year sometime. We'll work it out. Definitely go out and check them out. Like and subscribe to their channel. You can find them on Facebook. Right here, if you can find them on any like Spotify or any of the streaming services. You can find them on YouTube. Just search the Horror Chronicles podcast, and it will come up. You can subscribe to them on YouTube. They're great guys, a lot of fun. They know a lot about horror and cryptids, and that's why I definitely want to have them back. We want to do a little deeper dive this time when they don't have to get up quite so early. And Doc, thank you for jumping in. I'm glad your internet stabilized.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, same here, man. Same
General?
here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, sir, brother. Thank you for coming in. Appreciate you guys. I'm gonna, I think, get another cup of coffee and maybe see if I can get a couple thousand words banged out on the old computer.
I should probably pull mine up as well.
Yeah, I need to get some writing done. I want to try to get Lakeview 3 done before Christmas. That's the plan, anyway. It's suffered greatly after the accident because for the longest time I couldn't even concentrate to write. I mean, I would sit down just that my headache would be so bad I couldn't write. So I'm way behind where I wanted to be with Lakeview 3, but hopefully that's getting better. And we'll get that knocked out as quick as we can because I've got other books I got to get written. Meg, thank you. Glad you're here. Meg, let me know when you've got your internet connection stabilized because I still would like to have you be one of our mods.
Yeah, you know what? I might be able to grab her if she's still interested. I can actually grab her channel name right now. I figured out how to do it from chat.
Okay. Awesome.
So I can get her added. Mag, just shoot me a message on Discord if you're still interested in being a mod on YouTube, like Patty and I are.
Well, folks, again, thank you guys for joining us. My hat's off and our hearts are out to those that are affected by these deadly storms. There's a lot of folks out there right now in very bad shape. And if you live anywhere near any of those communities and you can do anything at all to help out, it's going to be a horrible Christmas season for a lot of families because the death toll is rising. So our thoughts and prayers are out to everybody affected by these storms because they got bad. And again, we've already discussed that, but it's one of those situations where it's tragic, especially right before Christmas. And I want to thank you guys all for joining us. Hope you guys like and subscribe to the channel, share the video far and wide. Let everybody know that are interested in cryptids or horror or writing or books. Send them our direction because we would love to have them on the show, or love them have them join us here in the audience and ask questions and be part of the community. Because that's what we have. We don't have fans. We have friends. Every one of these shows is just like hanging out with good friends, and that's one of the best parts about it. Is I thoroughly enjoy hanging out with everybody and answering questions, and it astounds me when I get to interact with people that have not only read my books but have enjoyed them so much, and I get a lot of wonderful comments from some very, very amazing people, and I appreciate every one of y'all, and you know, I'm thankful that I've gotten to know every one of you. I've said it many times. I'll say it again. Writing is a journey that we take together. The reader and the writer are just as important as each other. Without one, there wouldn't be a need for the other. So writing is a journey we take together, and I am blessed, and I thank you so much for taking it with me. So hope you guys have a wonderful night, and we will see you Wednesday night when we have Eli Watson from Small Town Monsters. And join us that night, Wednesday, with Naoma, and we're going to have a great time. Hope you guys have a wonderful night and enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Have a good night.
Thank you for joining us tonight on DAX Machina. If you ever have an encounter of your own that you wish to discuss, contact us at daroberts@daroberts.net. You can remain completely anonymous if you wish. Pull your covers up tight and keep a nightlight burning bright. Oh, and did you forget to lock your doors?